The story begins at an internet service company in Pennsylvania, USA. On the 23rd of December 2021 at 7:50 a.m., a blonde man is walking down the hallway. He is holding a Starbucks coffee. Then he goes to give a cup to his red-haired colleague and asks, "What is the situation?" The other replies, "All normal." The red-haired young man turns and asks, "How much longer do you think we have to do this?" "I've been here for 3 years already." The blonde young man replies, "You can't take 3 years. I have been here since this company was founded 8 years ago." He thinks back, "We only have one job." One day, 8 years ago, the company was founded with less than 10 members. The boss ordered, "Monitor that name on the manifest closely for me. This is not my request. It is an order from Langley CIA headquarters. It is an order from the White House." The blonde guy thought to himself, 8/2001, the 69,457th hour since I started working at this company, less than 10 minutes to go. Suddenly, the redhead reported, "Captain, something's not right." He turned and said, "It seems like the ship's speeding up." A red alert appeared on the screen, and an alarm sounded in the room, causing the coffee cup in his hand to fall to the ground. The blonde quickly took out his phone and called someone. "Boss, we have a problem." The other end asked, "What is it?" His face filled with fear as he replied, "Red alert." At CIA headquarters in Langley in the White House, the leaders who heard the information were so shocked that they swore. Cut to Losini Island, British waters, South Pacific, 11:30 a.m. Soldiers with advanced weaponry surround a young man in red, blonde hair, who says, "You should not have broken the agreement, leaving the safe zone we agreed upon." He adds, "Langley and the White House are unhappy about this." The man in red, Chinua, takes a drag of his cigarette and replies, "Tell those unhappy people to log off from Earth. Now, let me talk to someone who actually has the power to decide." Though he has some stubble, he looks quite young, turning back to the blonde and saying, "This is an order," leaving him speechless. The blonde grits his teeth, not daring to object. He then anxiously hands him the communication device. Shunua laughs loudly, his voice full of sarcasm. "Mr. President, do not scold me or I will talk back." He took a drag and continued, "You know, any agreement has a time limit. For the past 8 years, I have given to you. Enough face. Now, I just want to set foot on the mainland and have a smoke. We do not need to beat around the bush. You know my physical condition very well. Every time a ship buys goods, even just a piece of land, you inspect it, not to mention the medicine I take regularly. Your medical experts must have already concluded my health situation and the progression of my illness, have not they?" Chenua proposes, "Let's make one last deal. In 3 months, all the detonation sequences of the 16 nuclear warheads I stole from you will self-destruct. My request is very simple. Within 3 months, you're not allowed to use any means to hunt down my people. They will go underwater and completely disappear from this world." He fiddled with the cigarette in his hand and continued, "This is my final condition. If you agree, we will pop champagne and celebrate from afar. But if you do not agree," Chennuo flicked the ashes and said loudly, "Boom." He smiled coldly, "The nuclear warheads on your land will be detonated. Exciting is not it. Now, I will just ask you one question. Do you accept, Mr. President?" The exchange continued, the blonde still standing silently behind observing. After everything was settled, he returned the special phone to him, then smiled and said, "See? The president agreed. Now, let's pop the champagne and celebrate." The blonde snatched back the phone and cursed, "You can go straight to hell." Chen Nuo laughed and asked, "It seems you have a grudge against me." The blonde immediately replied, "Me and 3 departments in Langley, over 400 intelligence agency elites have been serving you for 8 years. You are a Lucifer," he angrily retorted. "Lucifer my ass. What a stupid nickname, according to the traditions of my homeland." Then his eyes flashed with excitement. "I prefer to be called Yama." The blonde muttered, "Yama, okay." The surrounding soldiers began to advance. "Yama, now you can't escape even with wings." Tran and AC sat down on a nearby rock. Then twirling a cigarette in his hand with great flair, he said, "How could someone like me really let myself get caught by you guys? The guy in the White House already understands, and you still do not get it. My brain tumor has metastasized to the cortex pressing on a right nerve. Besides, I have used some drugs that allow me to precisely control the time of my death." Taking out a lighter to light his cigarette, he said, "My life now only has 5-4. Hearing Tran and a countdown, the blonde man shouted in panic scatter, "Watch out for his suicide attack. After all, this guy's a control-level esper." When he counted down to 0, he flicked the lighter and brought the cigarette to his lips, taking a drag. "Hell, here I come." Cut to London, a VIP surrounded by bodyguards walking out while talking on the phone, saying to the bloodsuckers at the treasury, "Damn it, I do not care about any risks. A projected 10 billion profit is worth going to hell for." As soon as he finished speaking, boom, a bullet went through his head. On the other side, through the scope of the sniper rifle, the VIP slowly fell. Girl with a great ass reporting, target eliminated. Firefly reporting, that is her code name. a professional assassin. A minute later in a nearby alley, Firefly walks with her long legs and a sexy miniskirt. She's talking to someone on the phone. The toy made this time is not bad. Just the wind speed calculation was a little off. Walking towards a nearby red sports car, she opens the door and continues. Remember to improve it next time, Fox. Sitting in the driver's seat and putting her hand on the steering wheel, she says reproachfully to the girl on the other end, but do not look for me for missions like that again, making me give up my vacation to work overtime for an ugly bald finance guy. How boring. The other side announces no more missions. Latest order, everyone goes in asylum mode. Firefly freezes for 5 seconds and asks, how long silent? The voice on the other end replies permanently. Hearing this, she immediately shouted, who gave the order? I want to contact the boss. Fox replied, this is the boss's order from an hour ago, a recording he sent. Firefly yelled, you are lying. You damn Fox. You are definitely lying. Telling me such lies. I will kill you. Fox calmly replied, we have followed him for so many years. You understand me, and you understand him even better. Firefly lowered her head, her body trembling slightly, her voice choked with emotion. He is really gone. She was in pain, tears falling incessantly, suppressing her emotions to listen to the other side continue his last words, hoping we can all go to heaven in the future. And as for hell, he will go alone. Okay, execute the order, Firefly. This is our last phone call, so see you in the next life. The call ended, leaving only silence, the long, desperate beeps and tears of anguish. Firefly sat there staring at the phone. She was numb with the information she just received. The car door opened, and she stepped out. She held the machine gun in her hand, standing in the middle of the crowded intersection. The Fireflies pointed their guns to the sky and kept firing. Terrified by the gunshots, the people nearby scattered and ran. She stood there coldly, the wind gently blowing her hair across her face, tears still falling. For now, she was the only one left standing in the middle of the intersection, the wailing of police sirens approaching. The Fireflies laughed coldly. Hell, I want to see what it's like. Then she took out a sharp dagger. Her eyes flashed with death, mingling with tears, and she stabbed herself straight in the heart. Blood splattered, and she slowly fell right in front of her car. The phone in her car is still lit up. In a Yama and Imp group chat, Firefly has gone offline. Cut to South America. A plane is flying through the sky over a vast jungle area. The girl nicknamed Hummingbird is sitting there with a glass of wine in her hand, also receiving a phone call. She listens attentively and only answers briefly. Okay, got it. Her foot is stepping on the head of a man who is gagged and tied up lying there. Like Firefly, Hummingbird laughs coldly. Hell, I have always wanted to see what it is like. The plane crashes straight into the mountain, a huge explosion. Another girl clenches her hands until they bleed. Sitting in front of a computer screen, more notifications. Hummingbird offline, Blueberry offline, Iris offline. She gently reached into the drawer for something, a handgun in her hand, and she began to load it. She smiled, tears falling, and raised the gun to her head, saying softly, Fox offline. Then she slowly closed her eyes. Cut to a classroom, the scene slightly blurred. The teacher called out, Chinua, come up to the board and explain. Hearing this startled him slightly. It is currently 11:45 a.m., the 23rd of December 2000, class A6. His classmates turned to stare at him wide-eyed, the numbers and letters scribbled on the board. It had been too long since he would touch them. And of course, Chinua did not understand. He covered his face and muttered, this really is hell, then smiled mysteriously. This plot, dying in middle age, returning as a teenager. Cut to outside the classroom, a scene in front of the school gate. On the sports field, a group of students are playing basketball. What a beautiful slam dunk. The girls outside are cheering and admiring him. Go for it. Shanua stood there, remembering how he was kicked out into the hallway by the teacher for not answering the question. Standing there, looking at the basketball court, he sighed. Life is not worth it. He put his hand on the advanced math book, then peeked into the classroom. He is transmigrated again to a strange place with strangers. Seeing a girl's pencil case with idle pictures, Chinua stood there, looked up at the sky, shielded his eyes from the sun, and lamented, is this God's punishment or reward for me? Suddenly, a loud shout caught his attention. Someone, the school beauty, jumped off the building. A girl fell from the building. Instinctively, Chinua immediately moved. Then he tried to reach out and catch her. His hand almost touched the girl, then a cloud of dust. Then the image of her falling on top of him. This girl is Tankaka, a girl whose appearance matches her name, extremely lovely, looking at him with wide eyes. Some people around also witnessed the scene. A moment later, the two stood in the head teacher's office, the atmosphere unusually silent. Tran and AC glanced at Kaka, who was still standing there with her usual innocent face. He thought to himself, luckily, she fell from the second floor. If she had fallen from a higher floor, forget a C cup, even a D, E, or F would be beyond repair. The door opened, and a man walked in coughing, startling both of them. He is Director Tun Tang Loi. He walked in and asked, "Has the school clinic checked you over? Is it anything serious?" Tran Nak smiled. "They checked me. It is nothing. I just happened to be standing there when she fell from upstairs and landed on me. So you could say I saved her." He immediately turned to Kaka and asked, "You jumped. Why did you jump?" She stammered, I was leaning on a railing in the second floor, looking at the scenery, and then I accidentally fell." Immediately after, she started to cry and changed how she addressed him. "Dad, I did not jump." Tran and AC looked over, wondering with such a difference in appearance as she adopted. He turned to him and said, "Tran and Ake, no matter what, thank you very much. I have already asked for leave with your class advisor. Do you need to go to hospital for a checkup? Should I contact your family?" He smiled, waved, walked out. "Teacher, I am fine. Maybe it is just a coincidence that I was not hurt at all. I will be fine after a rest." Tun Director was still very enthusiastic. "Okay, if you feel uncomfortable anywhere, just tell me any time." He reached for the doorknob, but suddenly stopped. Chen knew all was thinking about something. Then he turned back and asked, "Director Sun, there's a small matter. I do not know if it is convenient for you, but I will ask." Chen Nua frankly reached out and asked, "Could you let me 50 yuan? I am a little dizzy right now and can't ride my bike home." He held a piece of paper with some information on it. Chen Nuo is currently standing in front of an old apartment complex. He quietly walked up the stairs, then he walked into the hallway looking around at the walls. It really has the smell of old times. The old door slowly opened. He entered the house, which was very simply furnished. He immediately rolled up his sleeves and started cleaning, quickly sorting one thing after another. Then he sat down at the table to look at his personal information. Name, Chinua, age 18, an ordinary student, extremely unremarkable. His parents divorced when he was young, and his father went abroad and disappeared. 6 years ago, his mother remarried, leaving a few thousand yuan and entrusting Chinua to his grandmother. 3 years ago, in order to pay off her current husband's debts, his mother embezzled a large sum of money, and now the two of them are still in prison. Last year, his grandmother passed away, leaving him all alone. Apart from the neighborhood committee people who visit periodically, he has almost no contact with anyone. Even in person, he is an introverted and withdrawn person with no friends. Having grasped the basic information, he smiled smugly. That is good, simple social relationships. This kind of cursed loner really avoids a lot of trouble. Chen Nua looked up at the wall calendar. He muttered to himself, "It is the 25th already. This is a bit troublesome." At this moment, Chen knew I was sitting in front of the computer screen searching for information. Only 18 years old, yet he habitually sucked on a lozenge like in his past life, thinking only 15 days left. He remembered that around midnight 15 days later, that girl would encounter the most terrifying and tragic event of her life. Sitting in internet cafe, Chenua thought to himself, "I have to save her, but I do not have money for a ticket. No passport, no visa to go to Nam Ka Ly. Ordinary measures definitely won't work." That night in Chinua's old room, the lights were still on. He sat pensively at the table, with a glass of water in front of him. His eyes flashed, radiating a faint aura, as if he was trying to do something. The glass of water was still and motionless. Shen Nuo despaired and leaned back in his chair. Tonight the moon is bright and high. From the outside, it looks like Cuckoo is chilling and listening to music. She innocently enjoys music about love and healing. Kaka remembers the time she was walking down the hallway and recognized someone. It was none other than him, Tran Nak. Kaka blushed slightly at that moment. Holding on to the railing, she tried to lean out to see him more clearly, but she unfortunately slipped, and the other students misunderstood and shouted, "The beauty is jumping off the building." Just remembering, it makes Kaka blush with embarrassment, her cheeks burning. Why him? How embarrassing. Her innocent eyes widened in contemplation. She looks down at the love letter in front of her, sent by Chen Nuo on a Seger film set, cut to a public phone booth. Chen Nuo's soul transmigrated into an ordinary male student with the same name as him, returning to the past. If that is the case, what was I doing this year? He dials a number, and gets a busy signal. The number you dialed does not exist. Chen Nua goes to knock on a door. He stands outside, thinking, "This is the place I remember living here when I was little." The door opens and a chubby young man steps out and asks, "Little brother, who are you looking for?" Chinua freezes. Everything from his past has almost disappeared. Walking down the street, full of questions, my phone does not exist, and the people at home are not familiar. You go to the convenience store on the street, madam, a pack of cigarettes, but the convenience store downstairs, the owner is still the same. Then you glance to the side, even Fatty who always beats me up is still the same. In this space-time, where did I go? No way. Everything is exactly the same. Only I disappear, could it be? Chinua points to the sky and curses. Author, come out. Is it because you can't handle the bug of two of me existing in the same space-time? So you're using the no explanation ultimate move. A pin shoots down from the void. It lands right where Chinua was standing. Luckily, he dodged it, The pin reaches out, then it pulls its own head off, and stands up. Explaining it now would be a spoiler, but I've already come up with the plot, and I guarantee the resolution will be convincing. Please be patient, and look forward to reading it. The next day at school, the hallway is buzzing with chatter. Did you hear Chinua from a 6 wrote a love letter to the school beauty? At the same time, a familiar female student walks by. She walks past the noise behind her talking about her. Look, it is son, Kiki. Chinua really has some guts. He's not afraid of the head teacher breaking his legs. Kiki's face turns red with embarrassment, but she does not say anything. She continued walking, and stopped in front of the classroom door. Kuka stood there for a while and looked inside. Chinua was sitting there resting his chin on his hand. He was scribbling something in his notebook. Suddenly, he looked up when he heard a female voice. Coco was in front of him, and she gently asked, "Are you free right now?" Chinua replied blankly, "Is something up?" Kuka looked tense and worried, and with both hands in front of her chest, she said, "I have read the letter you wrote me a few days ago. I am very sorry, but I can't accept your feelings." He thought to himself, this guy's got guts trying to woo the head of education's daughter. Seeing no reaction, she continued, "I am talking to you. I am saying I can't accept it. Do not do things like this anymore." At this point, Chinua replied, "Okay, I got it." Cuckoo still had not stopped stammering. "We are all students, and a student's main task should be studying." Chinua agreed, "You are right." Then he asked her, "What was your class ranking in the midterm exam?" Cuckoo's eyes widened, and she subconsciously replied, a little flustered, 196. He stood up and sneered, "You really do need to study hard." Then he thought to himself, "If I remember correctly, there are not even 300 students in the whole grade." Then he coldly walked past Cuckoo. Then he patted her shoulder and instructed, "I hope you study hard and strive for progress every day." Cook has shuddered, thinking, "Why do I feel like I've been rejected? My heart hurts." You can still hear the teacher in the classroom from outside. "There is something I want to make clear," he announced from the podium. "On the 10th of next month, our school will participate in a friendly tournament with Danebin Sports High School. You can sign up now. The school has posted a notice, so you could take a look. Those selected will need a parent's signature and a participation fee of 150 yuan. Chen Nuo suddenly realized, Danebin, Korea, Nam Kyo Ly, Hanchung is all the same road. Then he boldly raised his hand and said, "Teacher." Chen Nuo asked, "Can anyone sign up?" The teacher, seeing this, asked back, "You want to sign up? You want to participate in the math competition?" He wondered, "Are not there any other competitions?" While his classmates laughed at him, the teacher replied, "Go look at the schools, notice yourself." He remained silent as the lesson continued. "All right, let us start the lesson. Everyone, open your books to page 46. Outside, the sky was blue with white clouds and the wind blew gently. Inside the classroom, Chinua was slumped asleep at his desk. Below, a voice said, "Let us go or we will lose everything." The noise woke him up and he yawned repeatedly, then stood up, rubbing his neck and complaining, "How boring." Two of his friends came over and asked Chinua, "Want to play some games?" Chinua crossed his arms and replied, "Sure. I've had enough sleep this morning. Is it good? Time to get some exercise?" Cut to a game center on the street, quite crowded with people. The game screen shows K. Oh, two gamers are competing intensely. The kid with glasses thinks to himself, "Lost again." At the same time, Chinua stands up and says, "I am done playing." Suddenly, a hand grabs his shoulder. He immediately glances back. Behind me, a tough-looking blonde guy asked, "Are you Chinua?" Then with a grim face, he ordered, "Come here. I need to talk to you." A moment later, in a nearby alley, the thug said to the two kids, "You two did a good job. Now you can scram." 5 guys on one side stared at him without blinking. Facing them, Chinua smiled slightly and asked, "What do you want with me?" He took out a cigarette, and his subordinate lit it for him. Then he began to introduce himself. "My name is Xiao Dao. You can call me Brother Dao." He turned and asked, "I heard you wrote a love letter to Sun Cuckoo 2 days ago." Then Xiao Dao looked over with a cold smile. "You little punk, writing love letters to my girl. Did you ask me?" In Chunua's imagination right now, thugs and school beauties need such bloody requests. Then they ask him, "Is he your man?" Xiao Tao takes something out and replies, "Not yet, but it will be soon." He raises his knife threateningly. "Now you know what to do, right?" His underlings emboldened shout, "Hey kid, we are talking to you. Answer quickly." Chinua smiles, I know. Then clenching his hands, he whispers, "A good place, nobody around." He cracks his knuckles and looks at them coldly. "Time to stretch my muscles. You guys are good for a warm-up." Cut to Cuckoo carrying a lunchbox. She remembers her mother telling her, "It is past 8 of the clock and your dad's still working overtime. Cuckoo, take him his dinner." So now the little girl is alone at school this late. By coincidence, she sees Chinua sitting in the school parking lot. Cuckoo recognizes him. It is him. She wonders what he is doing. It turns out Chinua is trying each lock to see which bike is his. These two are not it either. Suddenly, Cuckoo, standing behind him, asks, "Why are you unlocking other people's bikes?" Chinua turns around and sees Cook is standing there in her uniform with her long slender legs. He was sweating, looking up, explaining if I said I did not remember which bike was mine. Would you believe me? She replied, nonsense. Then she turned to leave, but Chinua called her back. Wait. Then he smiled and looked over. Can I ask you a question? Just hearing that made Coco blush. What is it? The two were face to face, and Coco thought nervously. No matter what he says, I have to act cool and try to say as little as possible. Chen Nuo began. Actually, your attitude toward me could be a little gentler. I understand. You were the daughter of the head of discipline. You have to maintain the image of a model student. You can't break school rules and associate with male students, but you do not need to speak so coldly, so hostilely towards me. She blushed and replied, what is it to you? Shun Nu all continued. Actually, you do not have any bad intentions. It is just that you are young and inexperienced, so you instinctively put on a stern face, pretending to be very cold to draw a line. With me, Cuckoo listened with wide eyes. Children are all like that. When you get a little older, have a higher EQ, you will know how to handle things more gently. Chinua smiled. Look, I saved your life yesterday. Cuckoo turned her face away and retorted, jumping from the second floor would not necessarily kill me. He pondered if it did not kill you, you would still be injured. Okay, it does not count as saving your life, but at least I saved you once even if it was just by chance. Unable to argue, she hummed softly in agreement. At this moment, Chen Nuo began to ask about that hooligan. There's a guy named Zhang Xiang. Do you know him? His nickname is Little Knife, or something like Brother Knife. Cuckoo replied, I know him. He blocked me in front of the school gate twice. The first time, my dad chased him away, but he came back again a few days later. He smiled. For a long time to come, that guy won't be coming anymore. Hearing this surprised her slightly. What? Chinua repeated. I said, maybe for a long time to come, he won't be bothering you anymore. After all, he will be laid up for 100 days. Cut to the city hospital. In the VIP ward, someone who has just mentioned sneezes. Xiao Dao is lying there with casts on his arms and legs and bandages on his head. He is struggling to open his mouth. Did he catch a cold as soon as he got to the hospital? Back here, the two of you are walking on campus. Chen Nuo continues. It is okay. You do not need to know much. I am helping you solve this problem, but I actually need you for something. The school is organizing a trip to Dane Bien to participate in that competition. You know about it, right? Coco asks, why are you asking about that competition? While Chen Nuo continues looking for his bike, she reminds him, stop messing with other people's bike locks. Then she points, your bike is over there. The black one with a broken basket and a missing bell on one side. Shun Nuo turns and asks, how do you know we are not in the same class? Kuka stammers, I just know. Then you laugh and tease just now. She turned away and changed the subject, asking him why he was asking about the tournament. Chen knew all was frank. He wanted to participate, but he would read the announcement and did not qualify. She was curious. He wanted to go to Daiyinbian. He replied, yet to see the snow. Your dad's the head of education. He must know another way to participate. Cuckoo thought to herself, see the snow. She would just thought he was mature, and now he is being inappropriate. Shin knew all, then inadvertently noticed Cuckoo's pursed lips. After all, she was the school beauty. He blushed, and his heart fluttered. This girl, does not she know that move is incredibly lethal? Do not just casually make moves that are out of bounds. Suddenly, Chinua's stomach rumbled. Coco asked with concern, you have not had dinner. He replied, yeah, because I am too poor. Why is this guy being so inappropriate? She added, I know about your family situation. Although it is difficult, it is not like you can't afford to eat. If you really can't, I will talk to my dad and help you apply for a poverty assistance package. Seeing Chanua turn to look at her, Kuka quickly explained, I did not mean to look down on you. Chanua wondered, you seem to know a lot about my family. Did you deliberately try to find out? Kuka blushed and brushed it off. Nonsense. I heard from others. He glanced at the box in her hand, then pointed and asked, is that food in there? She quickly hugged the lunchbox and replied, this is my dad's dinner. Chinua suddenly smiled in a relaxed and genuine way. A moment later, under the bright moonlight, he found his bicycle. He also had a chicken leg in his hand which he bit into with relish. He rode his bike, taking bites and praising it. While Chenua was enjoying himself, on the other side, Headmaster's son asked his daughter, Cuckoo, why is there one less chicken leg today? How is one enough? Back at the old apartment complex, Chen Nuo's room is still lit. Inside, he is doing one-handed push-ups. He thinks to himself, this is the most suitable way to train his physique right now. So, 1,800 kilometers, the Yalu River, the 38th parallel. He must improve his body strength as quickly as possible. He continues to train, and the water in the glass on the table suddenly ripples. Cut to 2 days later at school. Shen Hua is standing in front of the administration office. Then he thinks, Teacher Liu is not a tenured teacher, but is in charge of planning sent by an education company to be in charge of administrative work at the school. He opens the door and walks in. With the upcoming restructuring of tenure, Batong has the lowest promotion rate in the district and will be converted into a private school bought by an education company in the future. So to be precise, Teacher Lu should be called Employee Lu, dealing with this kind of hired hand. Mr. Lu saw him and asked, "Hey, do you need something?" Chinua asked, "Mr. Lu, the school is going to Dane Bien to participate in a friendly competition. I did not sign up, but I heard there's a list of student representatives visiting the competition." Mr. Lu replied, "Student representatives visiting the competition must naturally be elected by each grade and approved by the homeroom teacher and the head of each grade." He then placed an envelope on the table. Seeing this, Mr. Lu wondered, "What is this?" After opening the envelope, the teacher's eyes lit up. Inside was a bank card. Mr. Lu's attitude immediately changed. Smiling, he said, "My memory is terrible. I almost forgot there's still 3 volunteer spots. You know about volunteers, right? You will go with the group, eat, and stay together, but you'll have to do some service like work." Chinua happily replied, "No problem, as long as I can go along." The teacher instructed, "Prepare your personal file, student ID, and a copy of your ID card." He had already prepared it and immediately handed it over, saying, "Here it is, sir. Everything's complete." After receiving it, he said to Chinua, "Okay, you can go. The list of students for the friendly match will be posted on the information board this afternoon." The teacher's gaze followed him with a bit of focus. Watching him leave, he thought to himself, "This kid is not simple." Finally, it is the end of school, and many students are leaving. Coco walks along the road. She sighs as she walks, thinking about her test score. When she received the results, she only got 45 points. She immediately clenched her fist, looked up to the sky, and reminded herself, "Sunkuku, do not do so poorly next time. No matter what, you have to maintain at least 60 points. Sigh, I am just keeping on my usual performance. Even a normal score is only 60. She walks past the information board. The students are buzzing. The list for the friendship delegation is out. My name's on it. I could go to DNBN. She remembers Chanua saying he wanted to go there to see the snow. Curious, she walks over to look at the list. Sure enough, Chinua's name is on it. She blushes slightly and whispers, "He really can see the snow now." In the hallway, hurried footsteps draw everyone's attention. She immediately pushes open the door to Mr. Su's office and calls out Dad. Then she walks in and says, "Dad, I want to join the competition team. Go to Dien Bien." He wondered, "Were not you not interested before? Why do you want to go now?" Kiki stammered, "Well, I want to see the snow." Director Sun said, "Here's the list." Kiki immediately whined, "I do not care. I can join the choir to go along." He wondered again, "Did not you say you did not like singing before? So you quit the choir?" Kiki pouted, "I like it now." Cut to January 3, Jinhuling train station. Kiki stands there with her suitcase beside her. She looks left and right, perhaps searching for her teammates. Someone in the group shouts, "Volunteer team members, help everyone move their luggage." Chinua is also walking over there. Seeing him, Kiki waves to greet him. Chinua walks over and reaches out to move her suitcase for her. But suddenly, someone quickly stepped forward and said, "Let me." It turned out that Director Tun also came to see his daughter off. A moment later, Tran and AC asked, "Why are you going with everyone? I did not see your name on the announcement. What are you going for?" Kakar replied, "I will go if I want to. Why do you care? I am going to see the snow." Director Toon looked in from outside, worried. Why is this pig always hanging around my fresh juicy cabbage? Why did I refuse the task of leading this delegation? The train started rolling, taking the students to Dien Bien. The journey was quite long, but luckily the weather was nice today. Inside the air-conditioned 4-bed compartment, Tran Nak was lying there chilling and reading a book. A voice rang out from the next bed, "Little Tran, go get some water and then tidy up the luggage in the hallway. There's a camera in my bag. Be careful not to drop it when you move things." But the response was still silence without a reply. Mr. Lu looked over and said, "I am talking to you." Chinua glanced back and replied, "Mr. Lu, I am here on a trip not to do hard labor. Are you misunderstanding something?" The teacher said sternly, "You are a volunteer, and the meaning of a volunteer is Chen Nu or retorted, I paid you for this trip. If you're not happy, how about you give me a refund, where you can tell the tour leader to kick me off the bus at the next stop, and I will go back to school myself." Mr. Lu was furious but helpless, standing there scolding. "You little brat, you were so mean." Chin quickly took out a cigarette and offered it. "Do not be angry. Mr. Lu, we are out here. Let us all be friendly, okay?" Although not very comfortable, he still reached out and took one. Then he put it to his mouth, took a puff, and immediately started coughing violently. Mr. Lu, livid with anger, cursed inwardly. Damn it, turning on me after using me is one thing, but even the cigarette is fake. Is he even human? Finally, everyone's arrived at Dien Bien station. Kaka gets off the train with her suitcase. She thinks to herself, what was I thinking joining this group just because of that name? Suddenly, a hand snatches the suitcase from her hand. Tran Nak throws her a can of water and says, "Drink this." She takes it and looks at him with different eyes. He gallantly carries Kaka's suitcase with ease. She's also starting to see him differently and smiles softly at Tran and AC and hurriedly followed him. Inside the room, Teacher Law's voice rang out. "What? You want to leave the group? There's still 4 days left." He reacted strongly. "Impossible. What happened? How am I supposed to explain this? Are you trying to kill me?" Chen Nua calmly took out his phone and opened the recording. The content of the conversation had been saved by him. "Teacher Lu, I have already paid you the tour fee. If you're not satisfied, either give me a refund or tell the tour guide to kick me off the tour at the next stop. I will get off the bus at the next stop and go back to school myself." "You little brat, you are ruthless," Teacher Lu angrily cursed. "You little punk, you're setting me up. I advise you not to play with fire. You think recording a few sentences will." Then he lunged forward and grabbed Chinyua's collar. "I am not just talking. Do you believe I will report you for leaving the group right now?" Meanwhile, he remained calm. "Do not do anything rash. It is a lose-lose situation. It won't benefit either of us." After feigning anger, Teacher Lu knelt down and lamented, "My friend, Shun, it was not easy for me to find this job. Please do not ruin it for me." "Okay, how about this? I will give you 200 yuan. You can wander around for a bit, and I will treat you to whatever you want to eat," he said loudly. "You're not giving me any choice. Are you? You are forcing me to use force or not you?" Chinua closed his eyes, turned away, and said nothing. A moment later, he saw Teacher Lu lying at his feet begging, "Was wrong, old Chun. Please forgive me. I beg you." He sat down and said, patting his shoulder, "Old Lu, why did I have to come to this? I was just discussing things with you, letting you know I am leaving the troop. As for covering it up, I believe you can do it. There are always more solutions than problems." With that, Chinua coldly walked out. "I am leaving now. I am counting on you for the rest." He did not forget to sneer. "Good luck, wage slave." 36 hours later, the border between Country N and Country B. Chinua stood there looking over. Crossing this area meant he would be in Country N. It was late at night, and the temperature was 13 degrees Celsius. Chennai lay hidden behind a large rock. He carefully observed the area ahead and to his right. Then he quickly dashed across. He ran for a bit and then sat down there. The border patrol searchlights constantly swept across the area. Chinua glanced over and noticed the light was about to shine on him. He quickly jumped to the side. Then with nimble footwork, he dodged the two lights. Then he lay flat on the ground, basically safe. Suddenly, a pair of feet appeared in front of him. Chinua looked up, his face a little worried. Standing before him now was a soldier. He immediately asked who was there, then quickly reached for the gun at his hip. Chinua quickly stood up. Then he delivered a lightning-fast, powerful blow to his neck, causing the soldier to slowly fall without a sound. He quickly reached out, then caught the soldier, one hand covering his mouth, then gently pulled him to the side. "There are 2 other soldiers in the watchtower. One of them seemed to notice something unusual," he said. "It looked like something flashed under the light." The other replied, "Maybe it was a crow. Besides, we have our secret soldiers watching down there." He nodded. "You are right. To cross the border, they have to get past more than just us." In the forest, Chinua was still silently crawling bit by bit. He thought to himself, "This untrained body is still too weak." Then he continued to crawl. He put something to his mouth and took a small bite, then looked ahead, replenishing some energy, preparing to cross the minefield. He thought to himself, "For others, this minefield is extremely dangerous. But for me, it is the easiest line of defense to cross. In my previous life, I carried out missions here many times, and I know the terrain like the back of my hand." And so he cautiously crawled through the minefield step by step. Then he smiled unsurprisingly 30 meters to get out of the minefield. Before he could rejoice for long, his knee bumped into something. His face contorted as he turned back to look and cursed, "Damn it, even an old horse can stumble." "Your foot is on an M2 anti-personnel mine." Chen Nua used his hands to scrape away the snow, revealing the mine. It weighs almost 3 kilograms, is easily detonated, has a metal wire, explodes 2 meters high, and has a kill radius of 10 meters. Chinua slowly took off his coat. "As soon as you move your knee, the wire inside the mine casing after being compressed will immediately spring up like a grenade pin. Then your whole body will be blown to pieces." He took out his tools and carefully cut the coat, precisely cutting a small piece from the uniform pocket to make a pressure bag. Then he passed it to the foot that was pressing on the mine. Chinua looked down, holding his breath. This was truly a dangerous situation. He gently slid the piece of cloth through his foot. Try not to lift it because even a small movement would mean instant death. His face was worried, and despite the cold, he was sweating profusely. Carefully cover the mine with a cloth. Then take a pin from your shirt and straighten it. Then use it to secure the cloth. Stretch the long piece of cloth out. Then use pins to fix it to the ground. Then put your uniform back on and take a pencil lead. Then Chinua took a pencil out of his pocket. Gently take out the lead inside. After a tense moment, he closed his eyes to calm himself down. And he opened his eyes and looked down, sweat still pouring out. Chen Nua lowered the pencil lead, and he told himself, now stick the pencil lead into the safety pin. Next up, the grand chorus song of unity performed by the Jiangming No. For middle school choir, Cuckoo, standing in the choir cursed inwardly, damn you Chana, you devil. She glanced down at the audience. Her eyes widened in surprise. I have not seen him for 2 days. Back at the minefield, after inserting the pencil lead into the pin, he heard a click. Chinua sighed in relief, wondering it should be okay, right? He knelt up straight and said, a pencil lead replaces the broken pin plus a pressure bag made from piece of uniform. 2 layers of safety. Surely fate would not play a trick on me. He told himself, God, you brought me back to this moment. You can't let me die so quickly, right? He glanced to the side looking for a safe spot, then he quickly jumped to the right and lay down there, hugging his head. The mine was still lying there motionless. A moment later he glanced over. Seeing nothing happen, Chen Nuo slowly stood up. You're standing there cursing, God damn it, and to mine, American made. It must be from Fatty Lee in the south. You walked away looking a little unhappy. Chen Nuo continued forward, not forgetting to grumble. I will remember this death. You approached the army's pre-dug trench, then quickly jumped down. Sitting there, you sighed in relief, finally safe. At the same time, 2 special forces soldiers jumped down. They appeared right in front of you, the 3 of you staring at each other in surprise. The 2 soldiers immediately charged forward. Chinua also quickly rushed in. He closed in on one of them, pushed him down, put his foot forward, and then dodged to the side. Then he reached inside his shirt. Chinua pulled out a knife and threw it straight at the soldier behind. The soldier did not have time to react, standing there as the knife was about to hit him in the head. The naive soldier stared wide-eyed as the knife was about to pierce his head. By the time he realized that it was all over, he slowly fell. While Chinua immediately turned to look, there was one more. The remaining soldier held a knife in one hand and raised the other, challenging him, come here. Holding the pen in his hand, he frowned and said, if you say so, I will come. Who do you think you are? Then the 2 rushed at each other, and in a flash after a clash, the 2 people were back to back. Blood dripped from the soldier's mouth. He groaned inaudibly, tears streaming down. Chen Nua glanced at him falling and smiled sarcastically. As a person, do not be too flashy. Then you take the soldier's uniform. With this disguise, if you are careful, you can blend into the North Korean border patrol, and then you walk away leaving the naked corpse lying there. Cut to the 6th of January 2001 at 3:00 p.m. Chinua stands there wearing a red jacket and a baseball cap. He looks brighter now because he took the opportunity to get a haircut. He walks out onto the street with a backpack on and hails a taxi. He gets in the car, buckles his seatbelt, and tells the driver to take him to a gyujong. At this moment, Chinua breathes a sigh of relief. He remembers that in his previous life, he accepted a commission task at Hyungjae's villa, which is our mission this time. I met Lee Young-won when I was 22. Back then, you had taken care of the guards and were standing in front of a large door. You slowly pushed the door open. Inside the room, you saw a woman in a sexy nightgown holding a gun pointed at the door. At that time, you were 22-year-old Tran Diem Lai. She was lying on top of a VIP, pointing a gun at his head, then turned and said, bodyguards, you are late. You immediately rushed forward and shouted, damn it, you crazy bitch. Hearing the gunshot, the bodyguards outside finally realized their boss was in danger. At this moment, Chinua had one slung over his shoulder. He held a machine gun in one hand and carried the bound beauty who was constantly yelling, let me go. The bodyguards appeared and blocked the way, shouting, stop. More men appeared from behind, confirming that he was surrounded. Chinua raised his machine gun and spun around firing. In an instant, he took down 2 of them. The remaining men angrily opened fire and yelled, damn it. With his superior skills, he managed to dodge the dangerous bullets in time. Then I will go back and shoot them all. Cut to a log cabin in the woods. After escaping, he threw Nung-won to the ground without a second thought, and he told her, this is my house. No one can find this place. Nung-won at that time was a crazy girl with serious mental issues. She sat up looking sexy and asked, really, does that mean I can do whatever I want? Chen Nuo did not answer, looking a little wary. Ng-won gently reached out and touched his face. Then a look of resentment flashed in her eyes, and she slithered down, changing her position as if to attack Chen Nuo. She lunged forward and threw a punch, but he quickly turned and dodged it. Then he struck Nung-won on the back of the neck. She immediately fainted and fell. A moment later, she slowly opened her eyes. Chenna was still there. Walling-won was wrapped in a blanket, hung up, and had cloth stuffed in her mouth. He took out a cigarette and lit it. While smoking, he told Ingwan to be quiet, ignoring her struggles and cries. The next morning, back at the cabin, Chen Nua unties Huan and asks, are you calmer now? Holding the gun, he continues, do you really want to die? She lies there and asks him, why did you save me? Is it because I am pretty? Then with a sharp, suspicious look, "Do you want to sleep with me?" Chinua uses the gun to lifting Juan's chin, then smiles and remarks, "You were just like a little girl, swallowed by fear and hatred, trying to act cruel, fearless, and crazy." Her eyes sparkling, she asks him, "Are you very powerful?" Then moving closer, she says, "The extremely powerful kind. I saw you kill a lot of people last night and you even brought me out." He laughs and replies, "You could say that. In this world, there are not many people who can be my opponent." Immediately, Ingwa knelt down, her attitude changing. She bowed and pleaded, "Help me. I still have some people I want dead." Her hands trembled as she gripped tightly. "As long as I can have my revenge, I will give myself to you. Do anything for you. Anything." Ingwan put her hand on her chest, tears streaming down her face, her voice full of hatred. "Please." She remembered her family. Her parents had been murdered when she was young, and now this was her path to revenge. And so for 2 years, she stayed by Chinua's side, receiving his training. From martial arts to shooting, her shooting skills also improved day by day. 2 years later, she finally achieved her goal, gun in hand, approaching her enemy. Then a gunshot rang out. He was shot between the eyes, falling in the middle of the crowded street. It was a rainy day, the rain mixing with his blood, the gunshot causing everyone to scream in panic, "Someone's dead." After it was done, Ingwan knelt in the rain. She gritted her teeth, the emotion she had suppressed for so long threatening to explode. Wan cried loudly, clutching a photo in her hand, the rain mixing with her tears. Looking at the remaining family photo, she thought to herself, "Dad, Mom, brother, I miss you all so much." A black umbrella appears. To let her cry comfortably, Chenhua accepts getting wet to shielding Juan. Only then did I learn what she finally encountered on the evening of the 6th of January, 2001. She slowly opens her eyes, and he asks caringly, "You are awake." Chinua smiles. "It's the first time I've seen someone cry until they faint." She's quite surprised lying there in the warm blankets looking at him. He slowly gets up. Inkwan immediately reaches out her hand. Then she grabs a shirt and says, "Can you sit next to me and watch me sleep? I am so afraid of waking up in the middle of the night and not seeing you. I want to pick up a gun and kill myself." Chen Nuo agreed. After all, this poor girl suffered a great blow from a young age, and only now can she take revenge. Wan asked, "Can I tell you about Lying Wan?" She began to recount that night. "I remember it was very dark. The wind was very strong, very cold. My mother was blaming my brother for fighting at school. And then they broke in. They killed my father and transferred the company's assets. Then they came to our door and killed my brother, right in front of my mother and me. The brother who had loved me so much since I was a child, always protecting me. Then they brutally humiliated my mother, stabbed her to death, and pinned her to the courtyard. After that, the one who stabbed my mother threw me on the floor and raped me right next to the sunflowers my mother had planted for me." Listening to her recount, Chinua could not bear it, gritting his teeth and asking, "Did not they kill you?" Ingwan replied, "No, maybe because I was beautiful, they wanted to imprison me and rape me. On the way he was taking me back, I found an opportunity to jump into the river and escape." He asked, "Then what happened?" She continued, "After escaping, I sought out a friend of my father's. He took me in, then raped me that very night, and handed me over to the perpetrator." Tears streamed downing Juan's face as she recounted. "While he was on the phone, I stabbed him in the eye with a chopstick. From then until I met you at 22, I lived in hell." She looked at him and as if to repay a debt said, "From today on, I will live only for you. If you let me live, I will live. If you tell me to die, I will die. Whatever you tell me to do, I will do. If you tell me to kill, I will kill everyone in the world. My world has long been nothing but darkness. I can only catch a single ray of light from you, truly a single ray of light." Chen Nuo replied, "No, if this world is nothing but darkness, then shine yourself." She was stunned. He added, "No one should place their hopes on others. Everyone can shine themselves, even if they are small and weak. So learn to shine yourself and take care of yourself." Chen Nuo reached out and touched Engwan's neck smiling. "From today on, I will call you Firefly." Back in reality, the driver's constant calling startled Chinua awake. The driver turned back to inform him, "Sir, we have arrived at a Pujong." Chinua got out of the taxi and walked forward. The door slowly opened, revealing a girl wearing a bow, holding a lollipop, and blowing bubble gum. "This is 16-year-old Li Yingwan." Chinua saw her standing in front of someone. They bumped into each other, causing Yingwan to fall to the side. She looked angry and turned to curse, but a hand appeared and grabbed her ear. Chen Nuo scolded, "Daughter, do not swear." Yingwan widened her eyes and asked loudly, "Hey, who are you? Let go of me." Then he tipped his hat, smiled, and said, "Hello, Firefly." Yingwan was stunned. "Firefly," she asked in a panic, "what are you talking about? Who are you anyway?" Chinua reached out and took the hood of her coat, replying me, "I am someone who fell from the sky." He smiled, put the hood on her head, and continued, "Just to help you chase away a nightmare." Nguyen's eyes were a little dazed, her face slightly flushed, then she smiled dangerously and then immediately tried to take him down with a knee strike. But Chen Nuo was just as quick, immediately backing away to avoid it. Nguyen turned and ran, yelling as she ran, "Pervert." Chen Nuo followed lightly behind, while she kept calling for a police officer. A young woman came, then she turned and pointed at Chen Nuo. The two of them looked over there, and Wan looked surprised. The person she had just told the police about was not there. She was stunned. That person was gone. January, Intelligence Agency of Country in NIS. A series of photos and murder weapons are laid out on the table. A man's voice rings out. These are the two officers who unexpectedly died while carrying out our secret military mission on the border. Last night, all the items found at the scene are here. He continues, besides these 300 meters south of the victims within our defensive minefield, an M2 anti-personnel mine was discovered, disabled using a specialized technique. At the conference table, everyone is focused. The man continues. The information and document images along with the preliminary analysis have been distributed to each of you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a military infiltration targeting our nation. After a pause, the northern enemy has raised their butcher's knife against us. To protect the safety of the Republic of Dane Nam, Chow Ly, the Blue House has issued an order requiring us to find a northern enemy who may have infiltrated our border at all costs in the shortest possible time. The people at the conference table say in unison, "Loyalty, loyalty." At the same time, north of the border in a secret border command post, the leader there seriously delivers information. The southern enemy has entered. I order you, starting now, to increase the level of patrols throughout the area and conduct a comprehensive search of the entire base and defensive zone. Then sternly, we must find the infiltrated enemy. We cannot allow their conspiracy to succeed. He turns to the person next to him and asks, who is in charge of the area where the incident occurred last night? Since he did not answer, he ordered, shoot him dead. Meanwhile, Chinua was sitting on someone's roof and sneezed. Then he wondered, is someone thinking about me? He said, chewing on a chocolate bar. I forgot to buy water. I am so thirsty. Suddenly, a fragrant smell wafted over. Chinua realized it smells like chicken soup, and he peeked his head down trying to look inside the house. A little boy was kneeling there, and a woman yelled, "You! Why did you fight at school?" The little boy obediently replied, "I am sorry, Mom." Then he looked towards the dining table, where Wan was sitting smugly. She smiled with obvious delight. Chen Nuo looked down through the window from the roof. A car sped up and screeched to a halt in front of their house. He realized with a start that today was the day the tragedy would occur. Several men in black got out of the car and went inside. There's so many of them. Many cars and more than a dozen people with weapons are entering. Chen Nuo observed and said, "Is it starting? They're already at the door." Side story, what was Chen Yanluo like in his past life? Many intelligence agencies, including the CIA, have conducted research on him, and the conclusion is, frustratingly, this guy's behavior is unpredictable. But two things are certain. First, Chen Yanluo is extremely protective of his own people. Second, he and his comrades have a symbiotic relationship. This relationship is beyond love, kinship, and friendship. You are my only hope for survival. Boss, we are okay here. Sleep tight. Babies, sleep tight. This unbreakable symbiotic relationship will only be officially dissolved when Shen Yinluo dies. I am going to hell offline. So in this life, Chun Yinluo decides to change his subordinate's tragic fate. What kind of male-female relationship will he embrace? Remember to watch the next episodes. Cut to the hotel where the students are staying. Hearing the constant knocking, Teacher Lu walks out. Coming. As soon as he opens the door, Cuckoo appears before him. He smiles and asks, "Is that you, Cuckoo? It is late? What is wrong?" She gently asks, "Where's Chunua? I have not seen him for 2 days." The teacher pretended to yawn and asked, "Is there something you need?" "I was already asleep." Kaka naively asked, "I am looking for Chunua, Mr. Lu. I have something to tell him." Mr. Lu kept stalling. "But it is so late, and I've already gone to bed. You keep pressing me." "Mr. Lu, where exactly is Chen Nuo?" He secretly pressed the phone he was hiding behind his back. The phone rang. Mr. Lu pretended to answer the phone. "Hello? Oh, Director Sunday. Hello? What is up?" He looked at Kaka and said into the phone, "Oh, is not this a coincidence? It is your daughter." She immediately put her hands together and whispered, "Do not tell my dad I am here." Then Cuckoo turned and ran. Teacher Lu stood there and continued, "Oh, it is nothing. It is nothing, Director Sun," he said. Once he was sure she had left, he gently closed the door, and he slid down and sat there slumped. Tears streamed down his face as he sighed quietly. It is so hard to make a living these days. Cut to the house that Chinua is watching. A group of underlings with weapons in hand kick down the door, allowing the 3 bosses to slowly enter. The sound of footsteps echoes down the hallway, then they break down the dining room door, entering to the surprise of the 3 people inside. Ingwan's brother jumped up, asking, "Who are you people?" One of the lackeys immediately kicked him, sending him sprawling backwards. "Get out of the way." 3 men entered. From left to right, they were Cha Kyung-hoon, Young Jai, and Cha Tai-yong. Young Jae tilted his head to look inside. Chinua outside was also secretly observing. He realized it was him the Won-win dealt with in her previous life. Regarding the previous generation's Lee family's tragic massacre, it all started with these 3. Ha Yong-je and Lin Win's father had partnered in the shipping business. By February, their shipping business was quite large-scale. That year, the Cha brothers, Cha Tae-yong and Cha Kyung-hoon, secretly engaged in black market deals, like trading high-profit goods, banned pharmaceuticals, and organ trafficking, and targeted Mr. Lee and Jung Jae's company. They tried to recruit director Jung Jae, but Lee Young-won's father refused. In the end, director Jung Jae colluded with those thugs to murder chairman Lee Dong-hyuk, Young-won's father, and dumped his body in the ocean near Australia. At this time, her brother was punched in the face, leaving him bruised and bleeding. The little boy lay sprawled there at his mother's feet. Another thug ran over and pulled her hand away. "He was so rough," Young-won cried out. The room was a mess, and the Lee family of 3 basically had no chance to resist. Chenua noticed the clock on the wall. "Based on what you know from your past life, something's about to happen." While Enji-won trembled in fear, tears streaming down her face, the perverted Xia Jingxuan looked at her and said, "Lee Donghei's daughter is so beautiful." Chen Nuo's eyes suggested that he had something planned. Suddenly, the sound of emergency vehicle sirens came from outside, stunning everyone. Hearing that, Jingxuan released Ding Wan and walked towards the door. Then he opened the window and looked outside. Chun Nuo, who was hiding on the roof right above him, asked in a deep voice what is going on. His subordinate replied, "Boss, they're fire trucks." He cursed. "Damn it." Right at this moment, Xa Taitung spoke up, "We can't make a move here. Take them all away." Then those people took the 3 members of the Ly family to the car. Trannak was still standing there, secretly observing. He smiled. "Luckily, there's an uninhabited house nearby that I can use. But next time, I have to calculate the time more accurately. According to the timeline, Ly Din Hunyun's father must be dead already. The only thing I can change is saving the 3 widowed women and their children." After that, he moved downstairs. This place really is not convenient to make a move. Trannak calculated very carefully. Killing these scumbags is a simple matter, but if a dozen corpses suddenly appear in the house, it will inevitably cause big trouble for them. He ran into the parking garage, so he had to change locations. From there, he drove out a white car, then quickly pursue to them. Chennai secretly followed the black cars in front. They left pretty quickly. Inside Jungja's car, he recalled the scene and thought, "Li Dong, you have finally met your match." Then he cursed inwardly, "You always lecture me like a dog, using false information to gain wealth, fame, and status beyond me. You even stole the woman I secretly loved and had those 2 little bastards." The person next to him offered him a cigarette. Then Taeyong asked, "What is wrong?" Still uneasy, Jong Tai took out his lighter and lit it. Next to him, Cha Taeyong continued, "When we get there, that woman is yours tonight. Do whatever you want with her." Hearing that, he took a deep drag. Then the sinister man said, "I not only want to enjoy Lee Dong-hyuk's wife, but I also want to taste his daughter. That bastard. Even in hell, he is still a failure." With that, he tossed the cigarette butt out. An abandoned factory in southern Hansiang. Young Wan's mother cried and begged, "John Tae, please spare my family. Please, out of respect for the friendship between you and Lee Dong-hyuk for the past few decades." He smiled and coldly walked forward. He is holding a leather whip. She is crying, clasping her hands together, begging. He does not respond, but raises the whip and strikes. He even looks angry. A mother's instinct kicks in, and she uses her body to shield her 2 children. The blow tears her white dress and blood flows from a wound. Then Yunyun's mother cries and turns back questioning, "Chin Ti, why are you doing this? What have we done to offend you? Has your heart completely rotted away?" Her brother glares at him, then he jumped up and charged at him cursing, "You bastard." The boy hugged him and pushed him away. Prime Minister immediately punched the boy and yelled, "Get out." His men jumped in punching and kicking, while the mother desperately begged, "No, please, no." Wanting knelt there, tears streaming down her face, her expression blank. "If this is just a nightmare, please wake me up." Her eyes lit up as if she remembered something. She remembered the young man she met that morning. The one who, when she asked him what he was, replied, "Me, I am someone who fell from the sky just to help you chase away your nightmare." She stood frozen, staring straight ahead. A white car sped in from outside, heading straight for them. The 2 distant cousins raised their hands to shield their faces. The gang members also stood there, heads in their hands, blinded by the headlights. Ingwan closed her eyes and cried loudly. Then the girl slowly opened her eyes. The car door opened. She realized it was her family's car. Chen Nua got out. Standing there coughing, he said, "Hey, there's something wrong with your car." Facing a crowd of people with weapons, He calmly stood there rambling. The clutch is loose, the acceleration feels intermittent, and the steering wheel is a bit loose too. It needs some adjustment. Ingwen recognized the young man. She was stunned. He was perhaps her family's only hope at this moment. He smiled kindly at her and said, "We meet again, little firefly." Chen Nuo coldly stepped into the crowd. Ing Wan was still in disbelief. Her eyes lit up recognizing him. It really was him. Xiao Jingxuan spoke up asking, "Who are you?" Then, Tai Yong immediately ordered his men to take care of him. One of them, holding a baseball bat, rushed towards him. From behind, he swung his arm and brought it down hard. Chen Nuo remained calm. He glanced at him, then he leaned to the side to dodge. Before he could react, Tran Nak delivered a powerful kick to his face. A brutal knee strike contoured his face. The impact shattered his neck, killing him instantly. He collapsed lifelessly to the ground. Witnessing his speed and power, the two distant cousins were a little worried and surprised. Tai Dung ordered, "What are you waiting for? Get him." As soon as he finished speaking, his men quickly rushed to attack Tran and AC. He glided through them like a breeze, leaving a trail of fallen soldiers in his wake. The ringleaders were stunned, and screams echoed through the warehouse. Chen Nua's backpack, whatever was in it, was now covered in blood. Taiyang's eyes widened in terror, as Chen Nua glanced back at them. Almost all of their underlings were down on the floor. He grimaced and ordered Jing Sun, "Kill him." Zheng Ji quickly chimed in, "Yes, kill him. You're the most elite soldier in our country and front lines. He is no match for you." So Jing Sun pulled out dagger. Seeing him approach, Chen Nua gently placed his backpack on the ground. He sighed after a rather tiring fight. Then he said, reminding him a bit, "You are the second person in the world to raise a knife to me. Do you know what happened to the first?" He replied, "Too much talk," and quickly lunged into an attack. A diagonal stab, but Chinua tilted his head to dodge it. The knife grazed his neck by a hair's breadth. Then he continued to kick, but he quickly retreated backward to avoid the blow. The kick missed and hit the car, dinning the door. Then Jing Sun repeatedly stabbed at Chinua's head, but he dodged them all. A moment later, he stopped in his tracks. Then he smiled at him and said, "Okay, the lesson is complete." Chinua was beginning to show signs of a counterattack. Seeing this, he immediately charged in stabbing and shouting "Die." He used his fist to strike the hand holding the knife. The blow caused the knife to fall to the ground. Not letting him wait long, he swung his other hand striking Jing Sun in the neck. He was hit, froze, and made a few grunting noises, unable to speak. Blood flowed, and he was frozen in shock. In Shen Nu's hand was a sharp, blue blade. He raised it, saying with a deadly look, "Fancy, unnecessary." Seeing this, Zhang Ji's face showed fear, and he nervously backed away. Chinoa turned to see him running away, and picking up his backpack, said trying to escape. He wound up ready to throw it, shouting, "No way you're getting away." He threw the backpack, hitting him squarely on the head. One blow was all it took to send Zhang Ji crashing face first to the ground. Some bricks fell out of the backpack. When Taidong saw it, he turned pale and cursed. "Damn it, there are bricks in the bag." He glanced at him and asked, "What are you looking at? This is obviously to smash you with." Then he turned to face him, and for a moment they were both silent. Glanced over and saw Dan Yin standing there. A wicked idea suddenly popped into his head. He grabbed her shirt and shouted, "Get over here." Tai Dong held a knife to Dan Yun's neck and challenged, "I do not care who this is, but you seem to care about this girl a lot. Then let me go." With a sharp knife at her throat, her tears still flowed. Chen Nuo frowned and looked over, asking one, "Hey girl, you are really scared or not you?" Her body trembled, unable to speak, tears streaming down her face uncontrollably, looking extremely pitiful. He smiled kindly, encouraging her not to be afraid. His sincere gaze moved her, and in that moment she placed absolute trust in the young man before her. Chinua raised his hand and said, "I was not originally planning to use this move. I have not mastered it yet, but oh well, I will use you to practice first." The two fingers he held up looked a little strange. Then he closed his eyes tightly, as if concentrating on something, his face turning pale. Then Chen Nua sighed, his whole body enveloped in a layer of black spiritual energy. After that, he slowly approached Tai Yong. He trembled slightly, his face showing fear and confusion, wondering what was happening. He could not move at all, feeling like his whole body was being stretched by the air. At this moment, Chen Nuo stood calmly right in front of him. He gently took the knife from his hand and said, "You are the third person to raise a knife to me tonight." Then he tore the knife in his hand with great skill, and then he helping one towards him. Just as she leaned her head on his shoulder, the knife plunged straight into Taiyang's heart. He groaned, unable to resist. His face was ashen. Chen Nuo reached out and gently pushed him back. Taiyang's body fell heavily to the ground. Chen Nuo stood there coldly looking down. He put his hand on her cheek and asked with concern, "Are you scared?" The little girl was as if frozen, rendered speechless by his coolness. He smiled gently, reassuring her, "Do not be afraid anymore. I told you, I will chase away your nightmares." 2 hours later at Li Yingwan's house, she was asleep on the sofa, covered by Chun Nua's uniform jacket. Yinghua slowly opened her eyes. She startled and sat up as she looked around and realized this is my house. A male voice asked, "You are awake." Chun Nua came out with a small bowl in his hand saying, "You fainted from excessive fear," and he brought the bowl of food to his mouth and gulped it down. After finishing, he put the bowl down and smacked his lips. That was delicious. He walked over, held out his hand and asked, "Can I have my clothes back?" Seeing that she did not answer, he added, "When you were unconscious, I was afraid you would be cold, so I covered you with it, but you were holding on to it so tightly, and I was afraid of waking you up, so I had to leave it there for now." Chinua has been the only one talking, while Nguyen's just been staring blankly at him. Chinua picked up the jacket, but Nguyen just sat there holding on tight. He sighed, looking at her and said, "Hey little girl, this jacket is mine." Nguyen just sat there thinking for a moment, then she gently let go. Chen Nua put the jacket in his backpack and said, "I have warmed up the chicken porridge in the pot. You can have some if you are hungry. Your brother had a few wounds and your mother already applied medicine to him. Before you woke up, your mother and I discussed a few things." He sat down in front of Nguyen and continued, "As for the specifics, she will tell you of course. My suggestion is that your family should not call the police. After all, I've already taken care of all the trouble." He unconsciously reached out to touch her face, but he suddenly stopped himself. Her gaze towards him was still as innocent as ever. Suddenly, she took the initiative and reached out to take his hand. Then she gently placed his hand on her cheek, her eyes wide and round, her cheeks slightly flushed. Nguyen's small gesture stunned him for a moment. Only then did she speak, asking tenderly, "Why do you talk so maturely? You look about my age." He did not answer immediately, but asked, "Were you very scared tonight?" "That kind of scene. But I did not have much time. I could not handle it better. If circumstances allowed, I would not want you to see these things." Nguyen obediently looked at him and replied, "You told me not to be afraid, so I am not afraid anymore." She hesitated, then asked Shenyua, "Can you tell me who you really are? What exactly is going on tonight? You said you fell from the sky." Hearing her silly question made him laugh. Then he patted Nguyen's head and said, "Kids should not ask so much. Your mother will tell you the specifics." Chinua added, "Alright, your mother was a little agitated, so I used some measures. She is sleeping now and he will wake up in about an hour. As for your brother, he is too impulsive, so I tied him up. He gently pinched your small ear. Then he gently instructed, remember to study hard in the future." "Got it. Also, do not imitate adults by cursing. Remember, alright, do not get tattoos. Getting tattoos when you're so young is so ugly. Do not learn to smoke or drink." "Hey, did you remember everything I said?" Nguyen nodded and repeated, "Uh-huh. No cursing, no tattoos, no drinking, no smoking. I can do it. I will definitely do everything you said." But after hesitating, she blushed and asked directly, "Could you tell me your name?" Chinua pointed at her forehead and said, "Why do kids ask so many questions?" Seeing him get up, she hurriedly asked, "Are you leaving?" He replied, "Yes, or would you have me stay here for the new year?" Then Chinua walked to the door and picked up his backpack. Nguyen kept pressing, "Tell me, are you human? Are you an angel?" Hearing this, Chinua was shocked and replied, "An angel? I do not believe in God. I believe in Guan Yu." Suddenly, something inside the black suitcase lying there moved a little. He kicked it a few times and shouted, "What is moving? If you move again, I will smash you with a brick." She wondered what was in the suitcase, and Chen Nuo replied, "Who else? But he's Zheng Qi, the old man still useful to me." Then he turned to leave. "Alright, I am off. Take care." Nguyen reached out and grabbed his sleeve. She knelt on the sofa, staring blankly at him. Then she asked directly, "Will I ever see you again?" Chinua asked back, "Do you like fireflies?" Nguyen smiled and replied, "Yes. My brother used to take me in the summer to catch fireflies," she said, just as Chinua reached for her neck. Then somehow, Guan slowly collapsed onto him. Chinua whispered, "Do not catch me again later." The little girl's eyes were tightly closed, as if she had just been knocked unconscious or hypnotized. In her mind, she still vaguely saw his figure trying to reach out to hold him back. "Do not go. Do not go." Nguyen woke up at the start. Her face panicked and she blurted out, "Do not go." She sat on the sofa and looked around. Only then did she sadly lower her head and realize he really left. She suddenly noticed something was wrong, and Nong Huan's eyes widened. She turned around and realized the study. Nguyen sat at her desk muttering, "This won't do." She is writing down a list of things Chuan Nua told her not to do. She writes for a while, then forgets, and asks herself what else was there. A moment later, another idea flashes in her mind. Then she mutters and writes it on the list. "Trust Guan Iri." But who is Guan Iri? One tries to remember, that is right. There's also the school logo on the shirt. She scribbles the words on the shirt from memory onto the paper. Then she realizes this seems to be Chinese. After writing it down, Nguyen seems excited to realize it is Chinese. Then she suddenly stood up and said, I remember there is a Chinese dictionary in my brother's room. Immediately, she went to the bookshelf to find the dictionary. Outside the window, her brother, Ying Wan, was tied up hanging there watching his sister. She muttered Jiangning, a place name, the location of the old Jiangning College, which is now Jingling City. Despite him being gagged and swinging around for a while, his sister inside still did not notice. Cut to Han City, He Zhengzai's secret residence. Chen Nuo carefully put on gloves and slowly unlocked the suitcase. Then he opened it and looked inside. The old man He Zhengzai was lying there, his face purple with tears and snot running down. He roared, demanding to know who I was. No rush. Chen Nuo calmly grabbed his ankle, then he dragged him across the floor and into a nearby room. He dragged him into the bedroom and walked to the head of the bed. He gently pulled the bedside table aside, revealing a secret vault door. Chen Nuo turned to look at Zheng Ti and suggested, let's make a deal. You open it. He asked, you will spare me. He replied, I can let you die with dignity. The old man stammered in fear, dignity. Chinua smiled, yes. You can choose the most presentable outfit from your wardrobe to wear before you die. It's not that dignified. Hearing this, the old man hurriedly begged, please spare me. Please, I am begging you. Please spare me. Then Zhang Ti cut out several times trying to plead, I can give you money. I can give you so much. I will give you all my money. Just do not kill me. I do not want to die. Chenhua was resolute, pointing to the safe and demanding, open it. He stammered, tears streaming down his face, the password is. Inside, there is a ledger. It is all recorded inside. The door opened, and inside, there was indeed a ledger, and a lot of money in gold. Chinua picked up the ledger. Then he tossed it aside, saying this, I am not interested in your debt ledger. Then you reached in and took the money. Chinua smiled meaningfully, stuffed the money and gold into his backpack, and said, I am just taking a little money to get by. After taking the money, he stood up to leave when a picture on the wall caught his eye. Chinua grabbed him by the hair. Then looking at the picture, he asked, is that boat yours? He asked curiously, how fast does it go? The old man replied, 30 knots at most. Chen Nuo proposed, in that case, one more condition for the deal. I will take this boat. The old man immediately bargained, then you have to spare me. Use it. Use it to trade for my life. You can't kill me. He smiled and agreed. Okay, deal. I will spare you. Where's the boat? Cut to a large yacht where the music Who Let the Dogs Out is playing. Chen Nuo is sitting at the helm looking excited. Rewind a few hours while Zheng is tied up. A bald man tries to shout, you must have the wrong person. I do not know you. Why are you killing me? Chen Nuo replies, no mistake. Hanzheng Yuan, the daughter of your best friend in your past life, Ling Yuan, came to you for help when she was desperate, but you raped and betrayed her. He continues to shout, past life, what are you talking about? I do not know what you were saying. Without further explanation, Chennai pushes the barrel tied to him into the sea and says, when you get down there, the king of hell will explain it to you. So a barrel pulls two people into the sea. The barrel sinks, dragging them down. Chinua stands on a boat coldly. He smiled slightly, almost forgetting he was the king of hell. Back to reality, blood suddenly flowed from Nuo's nose. He wiped it away and thought to himself, sure enough, you can't just practice ultimate moves on your own. I forced myself to use it to save Lying Wan, and now the after effects are here. Then he ignored everything and started dancing on the boat. He screamed along with the music and the lively song Who Let the Dogs Out. Then he flipped the bird straight up to the sky like screw this life. Cut to the Yenbian auditorium, a representative is giving a speech. This is the last group exchange activity. Please pay attention. Teachers leading the Jiangming No. 8 middle school group, all students must be present. All students are present, except for one empty seat belonging to someone we all know who. Kaka looked over thinking Chen Nuo still has not come. I have not seen him for 4 days. If a student is absent, the teacher leading the group and the absent student will be severely punished by the school. Mr. Lu clutched his head in self-reproach, wondering why he let money cloud his judgment. He stood up and stubbed out the cigarette he had just lit. Then with a grimace of worry, he thought, that brat Chinua is going to be the death of me this time. Just as he was about to look up, someone appeared in front of Mr. Lu. It was the head of the exchange delegation, Principal Fong. He looked down and asked, Lu Hung, did not you say that student named Chunamu would be here soon? It's been half an hour. Where is he? He stammered. She probably went to the nearby internet cafe to play games. Principal Fong knows kids this age love to play. The principal checked his watch and continued, it better be. There is less than half an hour before the event starts. I have sent some teachers and students to help you look for her. We can't afford any accidents. With that, he stepped in front of Teacher Lu. Then pointing his finger at his face, he scolded, otherwise, do not think just you, Lu Hung. We'll be in trouble. I won't be able to handle it either. See how I will hold you accountable then. Teacher Lu still tried to laugh it off and defend himself. Principal Fong, rest assured, the student definitely is not lost. Then he waved goodbye. Principal Fong, take care. Lu Hung stood there looking unhappy and cursed. Damn it. He then cursed. Is not he just some backdoor guy sent by the education bureau to the school to hold the gilded position of assistant principal? People flatter him and call him Principal Fong as if he is someone important. What is so great about pointing at my nose? He said, then clenched his fist bitterly. Then he looked up and thought to himself, but Chun Nua, where the hell did you go to die? Half an hour later, in front of the student assembly hall, Principal Fong stood there and asked, still no sign of him. Coco worriedly suggested, let us report it to the police, sir. A classmate has gone missing. If we can't find him, we should report it to the police quickly. He stood there pondering. No. If I report it to the police, whether he's really missing or not, Cuckoo continued. Sir, Chen Nua is missing. What are you still hesitating for? Report it to the police quickly. What if something happens to him? Principal Fong, worried about himself, requested. So let's go look some more. Keep looking. Maybe there's somewhere we missed. If we look again, we will find him. You guys did not seem eager to look. Only Kaka is anxious. Suddenly, his eyes lit up as if he remembered something. That is right. Then he turned and asked Loongang, you and Sheer always together. Did she ever mention having any relatives or friends here? Maybe she went to a friend's house. Teacher Lu stammered, I am not sure. Where's her luggage? Is it all in the room? He turned around, go look. Maybe there's an address or contact number in her luggage that we can use. And then everyone went back to the hotel area. Everyone went up the stairs together to get to the teacher and student's room. Teacher Liu awkwardly reached for the key looking hesitant. His hand trembled as he put the key in the lock. Standing behind him, Mr. Fong urged, hurry up, making Mr. Liu even more anxious. He closed his eyes and fearfully opened the door. The door opened slightly, and there was light in the room. Mr. Lau's eyes lit up, the light reflecting on his face. Someone came out from inside. Loongang gaped in astonishment. Then he swallowed hard, completely relieved, thinking, thank goodness he is back. Not knowing what she saw, Kaka covered her eyes and even Teacher Fuang froze. Chen Hao, having just finished showering, only had a towel wrapped around him, and could not help but gasp when he saw everyone outside. A moment later, Chen Nuo, now properly dressed, stood there listening to Teacher Fuang's reprimand. He scratched his head and explained, I just went out to play a game. As soon as he said that, he was immediately scolded, misbehaving, undisciplined, disorganized. You are really misbehaving. Do you have any sense of discipline at all? Tu Lu Hung sat and listened. How do I usually teach you? How do you act as a student? I will criticize you when we get back. Furthermore, write a self-criticism for me and examine yourself in front of all the students. Chinua glanced at Teacher Lu as if signaling something. Lu Hung suddenly felt guilty. He quickly stood up to defend him. Principal Fang, you see you have already scolded him, and this event is about to start. Hearing this, Principal Fang finished speaking. Consider yourself lucky today. I have things to do. Lu Hung stood at the door calling after him. Principal Fang, rest assured, I will definitely educate him properly. I will go to the restroom and then take him there. After saying that, Mr. Lu gently closed the door. Chinua sat there smiling. Old Lu, you are really righteous and resourceful. He turned around and scolded him. This time you have killed me. I can't avoid a disciplinary warning from the school. Chenhua took out his phone and deleted something. He held it up and said to Mr. Lu, to show my sincerity, I have deleted that recording. And he smiled friendly and said, let us live in peace from now on. You seem reliable, someone who does what they say. You still look doubtful. I will believe it when I see it. Dying the inconvenience in. Chen knew all, stood in front of room 502 and knocked. A student poked her head out and asked, Chen Nuo, what do you need? He asked back, where's Sun Coco? The female student replied with some excitement, she is taking a shower. Are you looking for her? Chen Nuo curiously peeked his head into the room to observe. In the bathroom, Coco was taking a hot shower. The misty steam was incredibly stimulating. Standing outside the door, he asked the female student to pass on a message. Tell her ill, be waiting for her on the roof. Shanua stood there with a can of drink waiting for Cuckoo. After a while, the door opened and she came out looking cute in her short dress. Cuckoo walked over gently and Chinua noticed her and turned around slightly. He turned around, smiled and said, look, it is snowing. Cuckoo was shy, her face flushed, and she put her hand on her chest looking at him. Chinua took the initiative and called out, come here. Coco immediately walked over. He handed her the can and said, here for you. Coco hesitated. Drinking this late will make me fat. Chinua looked at her most voluptuous part and said, fat is good. Fat is good. Making Coco both angry and shy. She playfully scolded, I hate you. After drinking the water, she felt it was a little too sweet. Chinua said, you know, I am really happy today. Cookie asked how why. He reached out to catch the snow and replied, maybe it is because I have done something I have always wanted to do. She then asked, is it watching the snow together? Chinua looked up at the sky and continued, I always heard that life is about making up for regrets. That is what life is, beautiful and complex. What regrets? Life in a human body is like a horse, passing a window over in the blink of an eye. Life is like a white horse. I want to be the one holding my own reins. Seeing Chen Nuo's words, Keiku expressed admiration. So cool. Chinua turned to look at the girl. Then he gently asked, Cuckoo, can you promise me something? She clutched the can in her hand expectantly. Go ahead. Cuckoo blushed with all the thoughts in her head. He would not make any unreasonable requests. Would he at most, I will let him hold my hand, but absolutely no kissing. If he absolutely has to kiss, then a kiss on the cheek is acceptable, but absolutely no kissing on the lips. Shunua scratched his head and smiled wryly. Well, do you know how to write a self-criticism? Write one for me. Cuckoo froze for 5 seconds after hearing that. This guy is such a blockhead. After some time back at school, it snowed quite a bit today in the head teacher's office. Inside, a radio announcement affected by the cold air mass from the north. There will still be heavy snow in the Jinling area today. Residents should take precautions to keep warm and drive safely. Director Sun sat there pensively. He just got back from Yenbin yesterday, and he does not know if those kids will behave themselves. He was a little curious. Also, what exactly is going on between Kiki and that boy named Chen Nua? Rewind to one day earlier, at Jinling railway station. The students had returned, including Kiki. As she stepped down, Chinua was right there to catch her, afraid she would fall. Kiki looked up, blushing slightly. Director Sun was also present at the time. Seeing this, he looked displeased and pretended to cough. Kiki looked over in confusion and asked, Dad, did not you say you were not coming? Remembering that scene gives the head teacher a headache. He gets up holding his water bottle, wondering if Kaka is dating too early. The bell rings for the end of class at class A6. Head teacher Tun, holding his water bottle, stands outside the window looking in. Then he slowly walks into the classroom and stands on the teacher's desk. Below, the students are worried and whispering, Oh damn, is head teacher Tun. Why is he here? Did someone do something wrong? Does he have something special to announce? I heard there is bad news. Is it true? Where's Lao Wu? He is not here. We're done for. We can't use tricks this time. Tran and AC's eyes show that he also senses something unusual. He thinks to himself, the atmosphere is suddenly too quiet. Something feels a bit off. It was then that Chinua looked up and recognized the person standing there. His face showed clear worry, and he cursed inwardly, damn it. Teacher Sun began to speak. Everyone, I have a few announcements. Yesterday, Teacher Wu went out and due to the snow, unfortunately fell and got injured. So I will be covering for him for the time being. He took out a stack of papers and continued to better understand your learning progress. I have prepared a quiz for each class. Everyone, please try your best. If you fail, you will stay after school and clear the snow on the sports field. Head teacher Sun's eyes stared directly at Chinua. He felt a pang of anxiety and wondered, am I hallucinating? It feels like I am being targeted. After class, Chinua's eyes were glazed over. He's sweeping the yard. A man's intuition is never wrong. I guess I did not offend Lao San. Over here, Keko also came running with a broom, waving and smiling, calling Chen Nuo. Chen Nuo turned around and asked, What are you doing? Keku held out a very cute pink water bottle and asked, Are you thirsty? I can't help. Lao Sun looked out from inside furious and cursed, That Brad, oh my daughter. The next day, Lao Sun continued to target him. Chen Nuo, you stay and sweep the snow. You copied your classmates' answers, he retorted, but I got enough points today. The third day, it was the same. Chinua, you stay and sweep the snow. You did not hand in your homework. But he resisted. There is no quiz in class today. On the fourth day, Lao Sun asked, Chen Nuo, you stay and sweep the snow. I am asking you, when was the 5th National Congress of the Communist Party of China held? And how many delegates participated? He answered fluently, There's no quiz in class today, and I handed him my homework. It was September 1997, with 2074 people. But when asked the names of the delegates, he was stumped. It was the 5th day. I was studying for another subject, when Mr. Toon, the head teacher, opened the door and called China. Hearing that, I immediately understood the problem and sighed. Then I pulled out my chair, grabbed a broom I had ready, and stood up. Mr. Tun scolded, What are you doing with the broom? I replied, sweeping snow. What else? I am always ready to take orders. He lowered his voice and said, Put the broom away. We are not sweeping today. Come to the office with me. After that, the two of us were in the head teacher's office. A police officer was waiting there. Say me arrive, he asked. Are you Chinua? Mr. Tan introduced Chinua. This is Instructor Zhang from Long Tan Prison. I stare blankly and asked, Is there a problem? The warden said, Here's the thing. Your mother, Otuahua, is reforming in our prison. Last year, she reformed well, so her request to see family was approved. He asked you. I do not know why, but we have never seen you visit. Chinua thought to himself, This happened before I was reborn. I did not know anything about it. The warden asked, So you two asked me to come talk to you. She misses you very much, kid. Are you really not going to visit her? Chinua pondered, but thinking about Chunua's family situation, it is understandable why he would not visit. Director Sun, standing there listening, also had some thoughts. He looked at you. This child must be feeling very uncomfortable inside. Then he stepped forward to defuse the situation. Warden Zhang, he is my student. Let me talk to him. How about you go back first? The warden added, normally, family visits are beneficial to the psychological reform of prisoners. I hope you can visit her. I will protect you. Do not say any more. She is just a child. Saying too much will put pressure on her. I am her teacher. Let me talk to her slowly. Officer Zhang, you can go back first. I will call you if anything comes up. Seeing this, Chen Nuo felt a touch of familial warmth, secretly calling his future father-in-law, old son. Officer Jean agreed. All right then. Sorry for the trouble, teacher. After that, Director's son saw the officer off. He gently closed the door. Chen Nuo was still sitting there. He thought sadly to himself, what an unfortunate child. Then he sat down and said, I understand some of your family situation from the school records, and I learned more from Officer Zhang just now. I did not realize it was so difficult. Old son smiled. You're a smart kid. Think carefully about what you should do. Do not feel burdened. If you have any difficulties, just tell me. Then he looked at his watch. It is getting late, and I'd bet no one at your place is cooking. So he took the initiative to invite Chinua. Come on, let's go to my place for dinner. He cut to Lao's son's neighborhood. Over here, Cuckoo is sitting there gnawing on corn. The little girl is wearing a set of clothes sitting on the she was startled and looked up when she saw the door open. Then she cheered happily. Dad's home. As soon as she finished speaking, Chinua peeked out from behind Director Wo and waved. He held up 2 fingers to greet Cuckoo. Seeing him, she hurriedly threw away the half-eaten corn looking flustered. Then she dashed into her room and slammed the door shut. Sitting behind the door, Kiki covered her ears, her face red, thinking, Chinua, why is he at my house? I am dressed like this, and I was eating so sloppily just now. Outside, Chinua smiled and thought she looked cute. At this moment, Lao Sun realized, oh, a miscalculation. I have brought a wolf into the house. He patted him on the shoulder and said, take off your shoes and go sit in the living room. Do your homework first. A moment later, Kiki changed her clothes and slowly walked out. She came out in a really cute short dress and asked Dad, why is he here? Lao Sun replied, I brought him home for a meal. You two be good and do your homework. Then he shouted sternly, you do at the dining table. You go to the living room. No whispering. After a while, Chun Nua sat there scribbling something on a piece of paper. Seeing this, Kuka thought, try to act tough. Is he afraid of my dad? After writing, he crumpled the paper in his hand and he looked at Coco and gestured and threw the crumpled paper at her. Kaka stared blankly at the paper in front of her. Then she opened it and read, your dad is really kind. Kaka blushed, thinking, does this count as accepting my dad if old son were here? He would remind me, daughter, you're speaking backwards. Old son sat there reading the newspaper, keeping an eye on the 2 young people studying. He grumbled to himself, this brat, he completely disregards me. His hand clenched the newspaper tightly. Time flew by, and it was almost 06:30 inches the evening. Shenyua used the old Bayu method to signal Kakahagan. Another wad of paper was thrown over. What is wrong? Your dad's acting weird reading a newspaper for 2 hours. He seems to like hugging it. After reading it, Kiki could not help but laugh, covering her mouth and giggling. Seeing this, Lao's son clutched the newspaper even tighter. Then he glanced at Chun Nuo and cursed inwardly. That little brat, he has winked at Kiki 32 times. And she has peeked at him 57 times. Does he think I am invisible? He stood up angrily and shouted, Kiki, startling her. She looked back and asked Dad. He seemed like he was going to be fierce, but his face softened as soon as he saw his daughter. Lao's son smiled wryly and said, it is already 7:30. Your mom's probably working overtime. I will go buy some food for dinner. With that, he went out to buy groceries. Muttering to herself as she walked, trying to avoid looking, she decided she could not let Chen Nua come to the house again. A moment later, a table of food was laid out. Old son picked up a duck leg for Chun Nuo, saying, here, eat the duck leg. You're still growing, so eat plenty. Coco also picked up a piece. The table suddenly fell silent. Seeing this, old son gave his daughter a subtle glare. Cuckoo smiled, cleverly putting it in his bowl and saying, you eat it, Dad. 3 minutes later, everyone was enjoying the meal, especially Chun Nua, who kept asking for more rice. Director Sun turned to remind him, Chun Nua, go home after you finish eating. It is not safe to be out too late. He replied, it is okay. I am used to walking at night. Then rubbing his belly and smiling, he said, that was great. Kiki, another bowl of rice. She immediately reached out to take the bowl. Then Lao's son immediately stood up and snapped, I said you were done when you were done. No more. Chen Nuo was pushed out. The door slammed shut. Poor Keek's dad. Would you say this counts as experiencing father-in-law and son-in-law conflict in advance? Then he walked out to go home. Then he unexpectedly met a woman also heading towards Lao Sun's house. Moreover, she looked somewhat familiar. The woman in the hallway had a lovely face and very defined features. Chinyua's eyes widened, but he did not dare look too closely. The two of them passed each other. Quickly, he glanced back inside. So similar. It is Sun Cuckoo's mother. A moment later, Chinyua was walking down the street. Someone was sticking their hand out of a car parked by the side of the road, smoking. His keen nose seemed to pick up on something. Chinyua remembered in the hallway, this cigarette smell. It is exactly the same as the smell he caught on Sun Cuckoo's mother just now. Then he looked up at the Kaika family's apartment. He is worried about old Sunday. Cut to Monday morning. Chinyua is sitting in the internet cafe near his house. He is surfing the web with a cigarette in his mouth. As Chinyua was typing away, a hand suddenly landed on his. Director Sun stood there and asked, "Why are you skipping class?" He frowned at Chinyua and said, "I've been looking for you all morning." He did not say anything, just took out a pack of cigarettes from his pocket, and he offered to him with a smile. "Old Sun, comrade, do not be so serious. Have a smoke." Old Sun snapped, "Where did you learn such nonsense?" After that, he pulled out the chair next to him and sat down. He held the cigarette in his hand and put it to his mouth. Shen Nua quickly took out a lighter. It would not do to offer a cigarette without a light. Director Sun immediately snatched both the cigarette and the lighter. Then he started lecturing. "You do not try to act cool and make yourself look like a thug. Wait a few years. When you're more mature and look back, you will see how ridiculous and childish this is." He took a puff and continued, "I know you are at that rebellious age and your family situation is complicated. I know you are stubborn and do not like socializing. But Chinyua, have you ever thought about your future?" He watched his father-in-law smoke and said, "The future." Principal Sun continued, "You are still young and you have already given up. What will you do in the future? Become a hoodlum. I do not want to see you become a street urchin. If you become that kind of person, I will be heartbroken." Chinyua replied, "Old Sun, you are overthinking it. I do not have the problems you think students have. I just feel like being a salted fish is very comfortable." He stretched and continued, "Actually, I really enjoy these boring days. They are peaceful, free. No one bothers me, and there is nothing special to worry about. I am happy just eating and drinking my fill every day, basking in the sun and watching the snow in winter, and teasing your daughter once in a while." Hearing about teasing his daughter, Old Sun's eyes narrowed at him. Chen Nuo quickly soothed him. "Okay, I am just kidding." He seemed sincere. "Old Sun, you're a good person and a good teacher, but please do not worry about me anymore. Okay, I am not someone who will go astray. I really just want to be idle, to live an idle and boring life." He asked him, "So you have to think about the future. What will you live on later?" Chen Nuo thought to himself, "I still have tens of thousands of dollars in gold bars at home, enough to live comfortably for a while. If I do a few more extortion jobs, buy a few apartments in the city center, and wait 20 years for the property prices to skyrocket, I will be a landlord collecting rent without lifting a finger. There's really no motivation to earn more money." Director Sun took something out of his pocket. He gave him an envelope and said, "This is a letter of introduction. I went to great lengths to find you a part-time job. I have already discussed the working hours and benefits, so you can rest assured and just go to work." Then he added, "Try to save money for the next 2 years. Do not spend it recklessly, and you should be able to save enough for college. Once you are in college, try to find a job to cover your expenses. It will be a little tough, but life will be better than wandering the streets." He turned to him and said, "Lao Sun, has anyone ever told you that people like you are very foolish?" Chinyua thought to himself, "In 20 years, good people like you will be almost extinct in society." He said somberly, "You won't listen no matter how much I say. Think carefully about what I just said. I have class this afternoon. I will go first." That same evening, Chinyua walked out, stretched his neck, and sighed, "I am so tired, but these few days of leisure have been really great." He smiled and said, "Sorry, Laozun, I still have to skip class tomorrow. The Utua matter needs to be resolved sooner or later. I will visit the prison tomorrow. After all, this body is her son's. I will take care of Chinyua's funeral." The next day at Longton Prison in the morning, Chinyua stood in front of the gate with 2 bags of things. "Hello, my name is Chinyua. I made an appointment last night to visit a prisoner," the warden announced. "Inmate Oyu Tu Hua, her son is here to visit." The mother and son sat facing each other through the prison glass. His mother picked up the phone, her face somewhat haggard, and softly called out, "Xiao Nuwa." Then she burst into tears. "Xiao Nuwa, you must not want to see me. You must hate me very much, right?" He replied, "There were some things I did not understand before, but I do not anymore. I do not hate you. I am telling the truth." Tiwa looked at her son and asked, "Really?" He replied, "Really. I brought you some chocolate and cookies. Life in prison must be tough." Wiping away tears, she forced a smile and said, "I am doing fine here. Do not worry about me. How about you? Are you doing well?" Shanua replied, I am doing great. My teachers and friends are very caring. That is good, Shihua added. Shinua, I will definitely reform myself and try to get out of prison early. Wait for me to get out, and I will make it up to you. Take care of you. Okay. The guard standing next to her announced, time's up. Chen Nuo replied briefly. Okay. That alone made her a little happy. She hurriedly asked, Xiao Nuo, I have one more favor to ask of you. I know it is inappropriate to say it, but I really can't ask anyone else. She's also my child. Consider her your half-sister. Can you go visit her? Shihua started crying again. She's only 5 years old, and I am very worried. She keeps having nightmares. If it is convenient for you, please go visit her. Okay? If you do not wanna, it is okay. It is all my fault. It is my sin. Chinua blankly thought to himself, I have a younger sister. He sighed, and thought for a moment. Then he happily replied, okay, I will go visit her. And cut to the Street Women's Federation where Cadre Lu said with a smile, this is the place. Chinua turned around and said, Cadre Lu, I will go buy some snack for the kids and some wine and cigarettes and then come back. She replied, okay, then looked at him thinking this kid is actually quite perceptive. A moment later, Chinua came back, carrying a bag of snacks. Cadre Lu went ahead and said, I have visited her home several times. Your little sister is very well behaved and adorable. I really like her because her situation is quite special. Her parents did not leave her much money, so the association has only been able to raise a small amount of funds. We sent her 300 yuan a month for care. She turned to look at him and added, I keep a close eye on this money every month to ensure it is transferred to the designated account of the foster family. Chen Nuo replied, You've gone to a lot of trouble. He thought to himself, after Wu Hua and that man went to prison together, their daughter was handed over to that man's younger brother to raise. Listening to Cadre Lu, it seems this little sister is living much better than Shenhua after he lost his grandmother. A moment later, the two of them stood in front of apartment 602 finally arriving. She reached out and knocked on the door. The apartment door slowly opened. The person inside stepped out smiling and asking, Little Lu, is that you? Then they quickly invited the two of them inside. Come in, come in. Chen Nua saw an old woman and a little girl sitting and watching a children's program. Cadre Lu introduced, This is Uncle Gu and Aunt Feng. Uncle Gu is her real uncle. This is Chen Nua. Uncle Gu looked at him and said, Chen Nua. He quickly handed over the gift bag, then smiled and said, Sorry to bother you all. I am just here to visit my sister. The uncle took the gift bag, and he gently opened it to see what was inside. After that, he smiled happily and said, Sit down, sit down. I will tell my wife to bring your sister out. That child just likes to hide in her room and play by herself. A moment later, Chen Nua saw Aunt Fong leading out a little girl. Aunt Fong said to the little girl, This is your older brother. Go on, say hello. A cute little girl wearing a bow and hugging a small black teddy bear said, Hello brother. Uncle Ju tried to explain, The child is a little afraid of strangers. She does not usually talk much, but we take good care of her. Aunt Fang also smiled and said, That is right. My Lao Gu loves his granddaughter very much. She added, Look, this sweater of hers is new and it was not cheap. Wearing an apron, Auntie Fong came in and reminded, Lao Gu, after you have greeted the Lias, I will go into the kitchen to make lunch. Everyone stay for lunch today. Chen Yua held a banana in his hand and peeled it. Then he smiled, handed it to his younger sister, and asked want some. The little girl swallowed hard. Then, she looked at Uncle Gu as if asking for permission. The uncle smiled. This is a banana your brother peeled for you, eat it. The little girl sat down and ate happily and deliciously. Chinua took out more things and gave them to the little girl, saying, Some candy too. The little girl reached out her hand to take it. Then another small hand snatched it away. The mischievous boy said while making faces, I have Wong candy. I want to eat it. Neener. The uncle tried to explain, kids are like that. They're always bickering. But it seemed that Chinua noticed something unusual. He pretended to laugh it off. Yeah, kids this age are all mischievous. You guys have to take care of two of them. It is really not easy. At the same time, Miss Fong brought out the food and called everyone. Let us eat. Uncle kept saying at the table, Come on, eat up. Do not be shy. Just make yourself at home. Aunt Fong also showed concern picking up food. Yeezy, this is for you. You like chicken drumsticks the most. Everyone was chatting lively. Xiao Chuan, you eat a lot too. You must come visit often when you have time. After lunch, in front of Live Foam residential area, Cadre Lu said to Chinua, Your sister is really pitiful. She is so young and both her parents are in prison. But luckily, she's not doing badly now. Chinua, do not worry. Our association will definitely keep a close eye on her and won't let her suffer. He smiled and scratched his head replying, Then I will have to trouble you. Lu waved it off. Do not be so polite. I will go first. I still have a lot of work to do. Chen knew ill. Watch her leave. Then he thought to himself, Cadre Lu is enthusiastic, but she is not old enough and lacks experience. I am afraid there are many things she can't see clearly. Chinua recalled that there were clothes hanging on the balcony to dry, but none of them belonged to a little girl. It must be because she has so few clothes. She only changes them every so often. That sweater she's wearing looks clean, but the elbows are worn, they're loose threads, and the style is not for girls. It is probably hand-me-down from her brother. A 5-year-old eating so well, not leaving a single grain of rice. She even gnawed all the meat off the bone. It is clear she does not usually get to eat much. Chenhua smiled. Over 200 yuan a month for tutoring. He is happy to take it, feeling completely justified. He remembered visiting her in prison. No wonder Ushiwa was worried and asked him to check in. He took out a cigarette and lit it. He understood the situation perfectly. Chinua took a drag and exhaled. Then walking away, he thought, I took his life so ill, just consider this doing a few things to help his family. He suddenly went back to room 602 and knocked. The door opened once again. Uncle Gu, holding a bag of trash, was startled to see him. Chenhua glanced inside. He saw Miss Fang holding a ruler and his younger sister sobbing. She stood there scolding, do not cry so loudly. Shut your mouth. Then while hitting the little girl, she scolded, you were such a waste. I told you to wash the dishes and you broke them. Tell me, did you do it on purpose? Uncle Gu pushed in Newall Wei and asked, why are you back? At this moment Miss Fang inside finally realized what was happening. Tran Nak angrily said, you people. Then he kicked the uncle inside saying, is this how you treat my sister? Miss Fang rushed out furiously, you hit my husband. You dare hit my husband. Ignoring her, he pushed her aside, get out of the way. Then he approached the uncle. He gently grabbed the uncle's ankle. Uncle Ko, scared of being dragged away, called out, little N.A.C. Tran N.A.C. Then shocked, she asked, what do you want to do? The old woman sitting there also stood up and shouted, let my son go. Then she rushed over, pushing him repeatedly and scolding, let go, let go. Chuna glared, so you're not dead yet. When your daughter-in-law was hitting your own granddaughter, you could sit there and watch calmly. She is only 5 years old. What were you thinking? The old woman pointed and scolded. The older ones are troublemakers, and the younger ones are troublemakers too. Chinua realized, I understand now. So you're the disgusting kind who are old and won't die. Then he pulled him straight to the balcony door and opened it, stepping out. And with one strong motion, he pushed the person outside the balcony. Uncle was suspended there, terrified, screaming, help, help me murder. Chen Nuo threatened, shut up. If you dare scream, I will let go. And he turned to the two women in the house and said, do not come near. If anyone comes closer, I will let go. The wife quickly pulled her mother-in-law back, urging, Mom, do not provoke him. And she changed her tone and called out, Chun, Xiao Nuo, please put my husband down. Let's talk it over slowly. He sneered, then glancing back, he replied, finally, you're talking like a human being. Chinua was still tightly gripping his ankle, holding him suspended there. His face was filled with fear, tears streaming down. He swung his arm and threw his uncle back into the apartment. The old woman rushed over, anxiously calling out to her son. Then she started cursing, you damn bastard who deserves to be hacked to pieces. You are bad luck. You little beast with a mother, but no father to teach you. You'll get hit by a car. You'll get food stuck in your teeth. Emboldened, the wife pointed and added, you are dead meat. You know you're breaking the law. I am calling the police to arrest you right now. Chinua did not bother to reply, only smiling a deadly smile at his great uncle. He immediately turned around and scolded the two women. Damn it, both of you shut up. Do you want to kill me? Then he immediately raised his hand to appease him. Little Chun, do not get excited. Let us talk it over slowly. Slowly. Chinua smiled. That is what makes it interesting. Then he quietly went to the kitchen and came back with a knife in his hand. All three were terrified, and the old woman stepped forward and said, come on, kill me. This old woman has lived long enough anyway. Chen Nuo chuckled. He put the knife on the table and said, do not worry. I won't use a knife, not today. After scaring them, he finally began to question them. If you do not want to see blood, then answer honestly. Ms. Fang pointed and scolded. Chun, are not you afraid of retribution for doing this? I am telling you, you will go to jail. He smiled and replied, I am not afraid. I did not hurt anyone today. Even if the police take me away, I will only get a warning at most. After I get out, guess what? Well, I come looking for you guys. Chenhua added, you have a family, a wife, and children. I am all alone. If I come to your house with a knife later, Uncle Chun, do you think I would dare? Are you willing to bet? The wife was furious and speechless. The uncle turned back and scolded, shut up if you do not want to kill us. The uncle struggled to stand up. Then he said softly, young Master Chun, what do you want in the end? Just to vent your anger. Does it have to be like this? We treated your sister. Chen Nua smiled. Do not bother saying more me. Let's keep this simple. I want to take my sister away. Aunt Fong interrupted. We are the ones who raised her. He coldly replied. Is not it just for that 200 yuan a month and the money her birth parents left you? For raising her? The couple, hearing him speak so accurately, were speechless and could not argue. He smiled and continued, I do not need anything, not a single penny. Keep the money you have received. You do not need to return it. Continue receiving the monthly allowance in the future. You will still be her guardians in name, but I am taking her with me. She will be with me. Uncle Gu stammered a little flustered. This. Chinua raised his foot, then he kicked him hard in the knee, causing excruciating pain. Then he kicked his other leg. The uncle collapsed, screaming in pain. Watching Emil there, he declared, listen carefully. I am not negotiating with you. I am telling you what to do. Of course, you can taste the consequences of disagreeing. I am alone, but your family has 4 mouths to feed. Chinnuo smiled dangerously and asked, your son is only 7 years old. Right. Hearing that, all 3 members of the family were speechless and terrified. Fong, worried, quickly interjected, Go, take her away. Just take her away now and do not come back here again. From now on, we will live and let live. Chen knew all was just waiting for that. Okay, I will take her away. From now on, we will live and let live. Having said that, he walked up to his younger sister who was sitting there huddled up, then he gently knelt down on one knee. He said to the little girl, maybe you do not understand yet. I am your brother, your blood brother from the same mother. Will you agree to come with me from now on? I will eat whatever you eat, and no one will hit you. The little girl was a little scared, tears welling up as she asked, if you do not hit me, then I will go with you. Okay? Chen Nuo gently wiped away her tears and replied, deal. And also, from today, call me brother. Then he asked, that is right. What is your name? The little girl replied, Gu Xiaoyou. Chen Nuo looked back and said, the Gu family is no good. You are coming with me. So from now on, your surname is Chun Xiaoya. That afternoon on the way home, he took his sister to buy delicious food and lots of new clothes. The 2 siblings happily walked down the street. Back at the apartment complex, a familiar figure was standing there. Seeing him come back with a little girl, Cuckoo's eyes widened as she called out, Chinua. Seeing Cuckoo standing there, Chinua asked, what are you doing here? She replied softly, I tried calling you, but you did not answer. He took out his phone and saw that it was dead. Cuckoo looked down, saw Yeezy and smiled, saying she's so cute. She bent down smiling kindly and asked, who is this little girl? Chinua, where'd you get her? Seizing the opportunity to tease Cuckoo, he replied, This is my daughter. Then he turned to the little girl and said, little Yeezy, call me daddy. The little girl cooperated quite well, and immediately called him daddy. After hearing that, Kaka felt like her whole world collapsed. She sat down heavily, her eyes wide with disbelief like dad what? Yeezy acted innocent as could be, lying without batting an eye. She really has a talent for acting. But suddenly, she grabbed Chinua's hand and asked, brother, did I call you correctly just now? Kaka's expression changed slightly. It was dad just now, and now it is brother. Then she stood up fuming and playfully punched Chinua in the chest, scolding him. You're incorrigible. Meanwhile, Chinua was secretly pleased. Suddenly, he became serious again. No more joking around. What did you want to see me about? Kaka clasped his hands tightly, asking with concern, where have you been these past few days? Then she exclaimed, do you know how worried my dad has been about you? By the way, my dad rode his bike around your house, a few times the other day just to find you a job. When he came home last night, he was limping. He said he fell off his bike. When he was soaking his feet, I saw a long bruise on his calf. Chinua asked, how long have you been waiting for me? She blankly asked back. He reached out and tightly grasped Keku's hand. Then he asked with concern, it's so cold out. How long have you been waiting for me? She lowered her head shyly and replied, just a little while. Chinua pulled her hand and said, let us go inside. Cuckoo immediately shook his hand off, flustered, no, I can't. Looking at those pigeons, I wonder, are you two dating? Am I the third wheel here? Chinua thought for a moment. It is getting dark quickly these days. Let's go somewhere else. So they went to KFC and Chinua asked, is your dad the meddling type? Amidst a table full of fried chicken, Cuckoo replied, not at all. She recounted years ago when he was a homeroom teacher, dad often brought a student home for dinner. That boy had no one left in his family. Moreover, he was not a good student and was always running after people causing fights. Once to stop him, dad hugged him tightly and would not let him go, and he even pushed me over. That night, that boy ran to my house, knelt before my dad, crying his eyes out, constantly apologizing, begging my dad to ignore him, saying he was not worth it. My dad was very sad that day. Cuckoo continued, a few years later, that boy had an accident. He was stabbed to death in the street. After that, my dad stopped being a homeroom teacher. Because of this, my mom and dad argued many times. If he did not teach, his bonuses and other miscellaneous income would be reduced. The two Sean brothers listened attentively and then looked at each other. He pondered for a moment. I understand now. Your dad sees that person in me and does not want me to follow in his footsteps. While talking, he glances down at the food on the table. Then he says to Yeezy, why are not you eating? Seeing she still does not react, Chinua adds, come on, eat. She politely offers him a piece and says, you eat first. He feeds the KTEZ and replies, it is okay. I have some. You eat. Just then, the waiter brings the food and smiles. Here's the ice cream you ordered, sir. The little girl's eyes sparkle when she sees the ice cream as if it is the most delicious delicacy in the world that she has always longed to taste. Ez scoops up a spoonful of ice cream and happily puts it in her mouth. The adorable little girl raised her hand to her face, feeling the cold of the ice cream in the middle of winter, her face radiating comfort and happiness. Yeezy scooped a spoonful of ice cream and fed it to Chen Nui. Her eyes sparkling, she said in a pouting voice, "Do not take me back. Okay? I won't be a bother. I will bathe myself, go to bed myself. I can even sweep the floor and wipe the table, and I can even wash rice." Hearing this, Chinua reached out and stroked his sister's ear, saying, "I already told you, you will live with me from now on and you won't go back there anymore." Yeezy obediently replied, "Yes, brother. I will listen to you. Be very obedient, very obedient." Seeing this, Cuckoo asked Chinua, "Is she really your sister? She looks so adorable and sensible. Not like you at all." He stroked his sister's head as she happily ate her ice cream and replied, "It is complicated. I can't explain it in a few words." Then he asked Cuckoo, "Are not you going home for dinner tonight?" "Won't Lao Sun ask. If he finds out you are with me, I am afraid I will have to sweep the stadium again." She honestly said that her parents had argued today. Chen Nua brushed it off, saying that married couples argue. It is normal. She then recounted that her father never used to argue back, but lately, she does not know why her mother is always busy with work, and then every time she comes home, she feels like her mother is always nitpicking and picking fights with her father. Chinua chuckled and replied, "Adult stuff. Kids like you should not get involved." Cuckoo immediately retorted, acting all mature, "My dad said the same thing. So today he gave me," and he held out his hand towards Cuckoo, making her a little confused. She immediately asked, "What do you mean?" Chin Nuo replied, "Share the money. Did not your dad give you 50 yuan? Cuckoo slapped his hand and then stuck out her tongue in a cute way. Reply, "Nice try." After filling their stomachs, it was already dark, and the three of them walked back to Cuckoo's apartment complex. She waved, "I am home. Thank you both for the ride." Ez politely smiled, waved back, and said goodbye. Suddenly, he saw Cuckoo spread her arms as if wanting a hug, making Chinua a little startled. He smiled and rushed forward. It was just a ride home. No need for such an emotional hug. But she hugged the air while Cuckoo bent down and hugged Easy. He froze. She praised Ez, "You are such a cute little sister. How about you ask your brother to let you stay in my place tonight?" Watching KK go inside, Chinua said to his sister, "Let's go home." As soon as he stepped onto the street, he saw the black car from the other day again. Inside the car were two people, a man and a woman. The woman looked a little familiar. That is Kik's mother. Seeing her again made Chinua think. The next morning, Yeezy's voice echoed in the room calling him to get up and eat breakfast. He quickly washed up, then wiping his face, he looked at the food on the table and asked, "Did you make this?" The little girl obediently replied, "Yes." He looked at his sister puzzled. "You're only 5 years old. How do you know how to cook?" The little girl innocently asked, "What is wrong, brother?" Chinua sat down and smiled nothing. He picked up a piece of noodle and blew on it to cool it down. Then he ate happily, savoring every bite and praising how delicious it was. Yeezy reminded him, "You have to eat faster or you'll be late for school." He replied while eating, "I am not going to school. Otherwise we will take care of you." Then he thought to himself, "It feels like I am being taken care of by little Yeezy now." Seeing his sister looking a little sad, Chinua quickly asked little Yeezy, "What is wrong?" She replied, "Little Yeezy can take care of herself. Little Yeezy does not want to be a burden to you. Otherwise, you will definitely hate little Yeezy and kick little Yeezy out later." He gently stroked her head, reassuring her, "Do not worry. I will never hate little Yeezy." Chen Nuo gently adjusted the bow on her hair. Then he raised both hands in surrender. "All right, then I promise little Yeezy that I'll go to school. So little Yeezy, go get my jacket for me." In the afternoon after school, Chinua stood in the parking lot bewildered. Then he roared and cursed. What the hell? He looked at the parking space furious and wondered, "Where's my bike?" Chinua could not find his bike, so he went to find the security guard. Arriving at the booth, he saw the bald security guard dozing off and he shouted, "Hey, my bike was stolen." The guard's face seemed to say, "Yeah, you lost it. What is it to me?" Knowing his place, Chinua said to himself, "Okay, I will figure out how to find it myself." He took another bike and smiled, saying, "How can you catch a wolf without bait?" Then he chained his bike to a lamppost on the side of the road. The bike sat there all alone. Chunghwa, drinking water, watched from afar, observing the situation, and saw two figures approaching, eyeing his bike. The two guys looked it over for a while. Then one kept watch. One broke the lock. "No one's around. Hurry up." Chen Nual witnessed everything, stepped out and watched the two ride off. He watched them go and said, "They really took the bait." A while later, on Zedong Street, the gate says Sunflower District. Two car thieves are leading a car inside. Chen Nua looks and smiles to Road Street. I did not expect it to be here. No wonder it is the most famous second-hand car street in Jingling. The two thieves walk in and wave to a tall, bald man. He crosses his arms and asks them, "New goods?" The 1.5 points behind him and replies, "Brand new. Take a look. It has not even had its first oil change." He asks, "Where do you get it?" The man smiles, "Do not worry. It is far away from Jiangning." The bald man prepares to take money out of his pocket and replies, "Okay, we will stick to the old price." The thief tries to get more money. "Hey, this is a brand new car, you know. Can you add a little?" He gave him money and cursed, telling me to shut up. At the same time, Chenhua was outside the gate knocking. The bald guy yelled, "What are you banging on? What do you want? You spoke from outside, boss. Can I ask you something?" Hearing that, he came to the gate and waved you away. "Ask what? Go ask somewhere else." Realizing he could not be reasoned with, Yu sighed, and then a chain slowly fell from Chunhua's sleeve. Yu held one end, and the other end of the long chain fell straight to the ground. Chunhua coldly pushed the gate open, then stepped inside, his face grim. Just after stepping through the gate, Yu reached back and gently pushed it closed. The iron gate slammed shut, and they were surrounded by Chenhuo alone. The bald guy stepped forward, pointing right his face and asking, "Kid, you're looking for trouble." Chenhua smiled and replied, "Boss, I just want to ask, where's your safe?" With a dangerous smile and a chain in his hand. This time, there's going to be a robbery of these thugs' money. That grim-faced bald guy is Wu Del, a veteran in the business. In his youth, he injured someone and was sentenced to 2 years in prison. Because of good behavior, he was released 6 months early. During his time in prison, he was fortunate enough to meet a big shot. After his release, with that person's backing, Delay started buying and selling stolen used cars, living the good life, and his business grew more and more prosperous. Over the years, he has learned that harmony brings wealth and no longer likes bloody fights. But when he gets nasty, back to reality, Chinhua has successfully enraged Lei, who grabbed a big wrench and jumped up to hit him. But at the same time, he felt chains wrapping around his feet. Realizing the danger, his eyes flashed with alarm. Chinhua stood there, coldly smiling as he gripped the chain in his hand. Then he yanked it hard, tearing open Delay's leg. "Looks like his eggs are not doing so well." He screamed in pain, cursing the hell they are broken. He lay there clutching his crotch, crying and screaming, tears streaming down his face, utterly pathetic. Chinhua walked up and stood in front of him. Before I could even say anything, Delay blurted out, "The money's in the cabinet." After hearing that, he smiled friendly, but menacing. Holding a wad of cash, Chinhua pulled it out and counted it. Then he opened the gate and walked away, leaving Delay lying there. He gritted his teeth in anger and cursed, "Damn it." Then he took out his phone, dialed, and yelled at someone, "Damn it. Where the hell are you partying? Get your ass back here. We have been robbed." Shen Nuo, on the other hand, was very relaxed, not looking like he needed to run after robbing someone. He sat down at a nearby restaurant. Then he gently called the owner, ordered some fried cakes and wontons, and opened his wallet, which had a decent amount inside. Turns out there's 40,000 or 50,000. This trip was not a waste. After that, Chen Nuo sat there enjoying his food. While he was enjoying his meal, a car stopped right there with screech. Someone got out of the car, then a few more people got out and went toward Delay's warehouse. A moment later, after finishing his meal, Chinhua smiled and stood up preparing to leave and ordered more. "Hey owner, add 8 more buns, pack to go. I will pick them up later." On this side, the gang returned and ran in to ask Delay, "Boss, are you okay?" He yelled at them, "Find that guy for me. God damn it. I will beat him to death. Kill him, that little punk." Delay was furious, thinking to himself, 60,000. That punk swiped 60,000 for me. Money I was going to use to buy motorcycles in the next 2 days. His underlings kept asking, "Boss, what does he look like?" "Damn it, he's just a young punk. Looks ordinary, not old. And was he walking leisurely?" "Yes, that is right." "Damn, how did you know?" Hearing this, the henchman pointed towards the gate, hesitating. "Boss, Chen Nuo is walking in from the gate. Does he look like him?" Delay, quite surprised, shouted, "Damn it, why are you back?" Chen Nuo stood there with a dangerous smile. "I never said I was leaving. My car is still here. I just went out for a meal." Hearing his tone, he shuddered slightly and cursed, "Damn you." Then he immediately pointed and ordered his men, "Go get him, beat him to death." He even ordered, "Lock the doors, do not let him escape, the money's on him." Chinhua stood there calmly, letting them make their arrangements. The last gate was finally closed. They were officially surrounded by Chun Nuo alone. He coldly stepped inside. One impatient guy jumped in to attack first, but he easily grabbed the guy's weapon-wielding hand, then gently pull it aside like Tai Chi, then bring your knee up and strike his leg, hearing a crack. The underling knelt there screaming in pain, and Dialoy was sweating just watching. He realized the danger, swallowed hard, and a hint of fear appeared on his face.